Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to round 16 of the 2025 MotoOption Supercross Championship live here on Start Your Systems TV. I am, of course, Kellen Brower. Joining me in the booth, as always, the man, the myth, the legend, Andrew Wood, and we are ready for the action at Denver. 2 rounds of this championship left to go. It doesn't get much better than what we have in store in this 450 class. Colby Eaglin finally has clawed the championship lead away from Braden Carter. Carter has to respond tonight and not let this thing get too far out of hand, and this is a good spot for him to try to do it.
Yeah, we said kind of before we started that this is the time to step up, and tonight's the night. I mean, it's kind of all the pressure. It's not the last round, but this is where you need to stop the bleeding and really lock back in. So all eyes are going to be on Braden Carter tonight. And I mean, Colby Eaglin, he's been pretty consistent himself. So I think you kind of expect to see him up front by now. But we just got to see if Braden Carter can lock in.
And on the flip side, 250 West back in action tonight for their final singular round. Obviously, there's a showdown coming up next week in Salt Lake City. But there is a chance that Braden Tharp can clinch tonight. He had a chance to actually do it at the showdown in Philadelphia. Jake Spieth was able to get ahead of him and keep the points gap over 50 points. I believe it's 47. We'll get to it in a minute. But yeah, Tharp pretty much just has to get in the main event, have a good night, and probably will walk out of here with a championship #1 plate.
Yeah, it's kind of fun to be crowning someone when we still have a battle kind of going to the end. So I think, yeah, just focus on getting into the main event. That's your only real goal here tonight, and then you're kind of walking towards the championship. So it'll still be fun, though. Really good racing we've seen in the 250 class all year. So it'll be hectic, I'm sure, and we'll be keeping an eye on Tharp in the heat race.
Absolutely, we will. Before we get into the night show, I want to give a huge thank you to every single one of you guys last week who donated and sent your messages and everything along those lines to our friend Jerry Robin. You guys raised almost $3,500 for Jerry and helping him along the way. I was able to directly deposit $2,700 of that basically so far as I wait for the other funds to come in via YouTube now. But Jerry was very thankful. He was super appreciative. He was texting me on the weekend and just saying how awesome it was that a community he hasn't really been a part of for like kind of a long time is still caring that much about him. And the good news about Jerry, he is back home in California now, was able to get a medical flight out of New York to come back to California. Long road of recovery ahead of him. We wish him all the best. And yeah, awesome that you guys came together. What a week last week. It was insane.
Yeah, it was. I mean, we hit our mark in like the third turn of the 250 heat race. So, and then everything there was just a bonus, and really great that we were able to kind of send him that money and help out. And I mean, all you guys, yeah, he hasn't been around Sim for that long, but a lot of people do remember him from that. And also everyone here loves dirt bikes, loves Supercross and motocross. And yeah, always there to support when something happens.
Absolutely. And you guys rocked it out of the park last week. So thank you very much. All right, let's get into it, shall we? Let's pull up our quali times here for this evening's Denver Supercross in MX Simulator. Here's a look at your 450 qualifying rolling into this evening. Braden Carter said he needed to respond, and look at that, fires into P1 right away with a 52.093. Pablo Vial 52.2, Frank Jackson 52.7, actually tied with Seth Shirley, and then a 52.8 for your new championship leader, Colby Eaglin. Is this a sign of things to come tonight already?
Yeah, I mean, 8/10 is a lot. It's the pretty short qualifying session. Luckily, these guys still have some time to hit the track and figure something out. It looks like Carter and Vial kind of figured something out that the rest of the field didn't. So that'll be interesting to see. I'm looking, they're going to be in the same heat race, so that'll be interesting, both those guys, and see if Eaglin can kind of match him or get a good start, and if Braden still struggles with those. I mean, the fast lap times might get him up on the rear wheel, but it might not guarantee him, that position ahead of him. So it's going to be interesting, and we're going to get a good show straight from the start.
Absolutely, no question about it. In this 450 class, going to be a lot of fun. 250 West-wise, Braden Tharp does go fastest, 53.1 to a 53.5 out of his buddy there, Jake Spieth. His Spieth tries to keep the championship alive. But this one, as we mentioned, it is a little bit more far gone. So we're looking at some more other guys throughout the field. Joey Carter still looking for his first win of the season. Wyatt Grant's been good of late. Jackson Vick as well. And, of course, Cash Woods has already got 2 wins this season. He's looking to mix it up as well. So these guys are all going to have some fun this evening. Here is your standings, though. 2 back of Braden Carter is now, of Colby Eaglin. It has been a crescendo that is built to this point in the championship, and I don't think we have gotten this deep into a championship in the basically this century. or century, this decade, I should say, that Braden Carter is not in the championship lead. It's been a long time since he has not held the red plate this late in a championship, and Colby Eaglin has a chance to do something insane and stop the 5-peat from happening.
Yeah, I mean, the momentum's on Eaglin's side, but Carter has the experience. He's done it 4 times in a row and trying to do it a 5th. Yeah, won every championship basically this decade, like you said. So, I mean, all eyes on Carter. He's got, I mean, I wouldn't say nothing to lose. That's more like Tharp's situation. He's got everything to lose. He needs to lock in here, get it back. If he goes 1-2 with Eaglin, he has it still only by 1 point. These next 2 rounds are crucial. But if he lets any more points slip away tonight, then that's going to be crazy going into the finale.
Yeah, this is going to be an absolutely insane championship battle these last 2 rounds, and tonight should be a fun one as well. As mentioned, Tharp up actually 39. I was a little bit off, but 39 points up on Jake Spieth. He already came in here, said he needs to get P9 or better. He's guaranteed to win the title if he does that tonight, and of late, he's been able to do that rather consistently in this division, so I don't see it being too difficult for Tharp to win this title. So that is your pre-race show rolling into the night program here at Denver, and we are going to get ready to drop the gate here very soon. Want to get back in the server, make sure we're all good to go there, and we'll also get up live here on TikTok in just a second too. So I'm going to go ahead and try to full screen this and see if it works this time. It was not working before, and it might not do it to me again. Where did that just disappear to? It just falls off the face of the earth when I do this for some reason. There we go. Is that going to work though? Question mark? Maybe? I feel like it's not working. It's just a black screen over there for right now. Okay, yeah, we're just going to go windowed mode. I mean, whatever. It's been working good enough. So sad that the game doesn't like to be in non-windowed mode for me, but that's okay. We'll talk about this racetrack in just a second as we look overhead of the track here. But yeah, Denver, 2 rounds to go. And then we get outdoors coming up after this. So another thing to talk about a little bit, Andrew, is that a lot of these guys not in the championship fight anymore. We could even see them, begin to kind of like focus on outdoors a little bit, just put, take the, foot off the gas pedal just a little bit because they know, okay, outdoors are coming up. I could do some damage there. Maybe I sit back and don't, get myself in the drama of the title fight between some of these guys. I can do my damage when we take it outside.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like you see in real life. You see Webb and Sexton kind of separate themselves by such a large margin just in each race. And I think you're going to kind of see that here. Tharp may take a step back though. The 250 class, I feel like it kind of lets those guys have a chance to win. I know we saw Cash Woods have some great rides recently, and on the East Coast, and all these different guys that feel like they have a shot. Tharp may be laying it up just a little bit to ride it in, so it lets other people have an option to kind of see some success. But the 450 guys, yeah, it may be tricky. Some of these guys just have such raw speed, though. They'll be able to find themselves up there in the podium spot. But we might see a mano-a-mano, battle between Carter and Eaglin. And yeah, they might separate themselves from the field. Not sure, but maybe they're playing Supercross deeper than they would, and the other guys might have an edge even come the first outdoor rounds.
Yeah, let's talk about this racetrack too and what it might present for these guys here this evening. A bit of an interesting racetrack, left-hand first corner, but it kind of swoops into itself. We'll get an overhead perspective here of this track. But yeah, what do you like or dislike about this track so far from what you've seen?
Yeah, I like the options in the first rhythm section, see if people are able to make that work different ways. The 2 kind of short triple sections, not super big. I'm more focused on the far section with the yellow bales, that rhythm section, seeing what everyone is able to do. And then kind of looking towards, the whoop section into a rhythm. But a lot of these short lanes, normally lead for a little bit of single file racing, but it makes you really need to hit your corners. A lot of 180 corners, only, 290s really out there. So a lot of passing opportunities, places for these guys to run it up the inside and make something happen.
Yeah, and interesting to see whoops coming out of like more or less a sweeper, so these guys will get a really good run into it. We'll see whether or not that sets up some passing as well. And then always good to see a bowl berm before the finish line jump. We talk about it every week. You get 90s before it, and you're kind of like, man, maybe not a good last lap pass or just a good battling spot. But generally speaking, another thing about this track that's really cool is that there is a lot of 180 or very close to 180 degree corners. So you kind of leave yourself vulnerable in a lot of spots on this racetrack for guys to get up there and try to make a block pass on you.
Yeah, especially if you need some speed, going into the next section, or to kind of set your lineup, you need to go wide or something, and you might see guys being able to dive up the inside, hurting themselves in the next rhythm, but making the pass and able to kind of hold on to it. So, going to be interesting to see how the track breaks down. Saw your hot lap earlier, absolutely crushed the whoops in the section after it. But I mean, it's really, once we see this track break down, and it kind of almost takes the 250 heats, we have to see the way that they're working it out, and then the 450s, can normally break down the track in a completely different way. So you almost need to see the different styles for each class, just that bike, the speed of the bikes, and see what these guys are able to do everywhere, and how the track breaks down.
Well, we get to roll right into 250 heat number 1 coming at you right here, and I already totally forgot to put the time and name up, but that's okay. We'll do that right now and get ready to go. 250 heat 1 on the gate. We are back west racing here for the penultimate round of their championship, and we're set to go in Denver. Let's drop the gate as we fire into turn number 1. Who's going to get the all-important hole shot? I see Joey Carter trying to get a nose up there. The 62 of Hayden Stevenson is right there on the inside too, but it's actually, Rogan McIntosh that beats his teammate on the 18. That was Hayden Stevenson that comes through and gets the hole shot. So it's the Nexus Kawasaki's, actually the Yogi Nexus Kawasaki of Stevenson in second, but they are both Nexus Kawasaki's 1-2 off the line here in Denver. Getting a first look at this track, and nothing better than doing it with your teammate out front.
Yeah, it kind of makes you feel a little bit more comfortable, not so much pressure when it's your teammate or one of your friends right behind you. Rogan McIntosh had a great rhythm section right off the start. Both these guys doing the same line. Rogan getting a little bit sketchy, but able to kind of bring it back together there. Both of them, everyone up front going for the triple right there. Wasn't sure how consistent these 250 guys are going to be able to hit that. And their first pass to the whoops, should have a lot of speed, be able to hit these maybe a little bit more consistently like the 450 guys, but hard to get settled down for that triple double. So you see a rider go down out of third, but Rogan McIntosh through cleanly.
Yeah, I mean, the transition period after the whoops right there where you drop down to try to get that 3 looks like it might bite some guys tonight, because you hit that last whoop flush on, it bounces you into the face of that 3-2 option into the corner. So McIntosh leads our first full lap. It is his teammate Hayden Stevenson still in second, Jake Spieth in third, and Spieth, of course, can still keep this championship alive, basically by winning, finishing second or third, and then having a terrible night out of his teammate there on the District Designs KTM, Braden Tharp. So Tharp, we'll see him in the next heat race coming up after this. We're watching his teammate Jake Spieth right now. Then Joey Carter coming through in fourth, Evan Vanderkoy rounding out the top 5. And you mentioned Carter a little bit in the pre-show. Joey Carter almost won earlier this year at Seattle. Starts have been coming around, and hey, look, even I think last week it was in Pittsburgh, got a good start in the 450 race and kind of hung on out front. So he's been mixing it up. Not to take away from what's going on out front, though. We got a 3-rider battle brewing. This is going to get good.
Yeah, Stevenson actually took over the lead, then clipped that going in, took out his teammates. So now those two teammates that were riding so smoothly together are going to let Jake Spieth go through to the front. So really good for him. It's kind of tricky, though, Kellen, when we talk about, what can he do if he wins and there's a worse than 9th out of Tharp. He really only pushes it back one round, and then it's kind of, you just have to make the main. So it's going to need something kind of tragic here, and then still some luck next week. So he's really just kind of pushing it back, but not that he's not going to fight. And obviously he's showing a good showing here so far in the 250 heat, but he's got to have a lot of luck go his way as he leads this thing around with Joey Carter in tow.
Yeah, I mean, the best thing he can do at this point to control his destiny is just go win races. And even for Spieth to get a couple more wins on the season would be huge for his career that's been, rejuvenated a little bit this year. Got a win in the showdown earlier this year at Indianapolis, and really has come into his own in this 250 West division. So good to see him out front in this heat race. Joey Carter second, Evan Vanderkoy third, and then Travis Johnsmeyer's moved up into the 4th spot thanks to the Nexus teammates crashing. Good fight for 5th going on back here. Caden Speck looks like he just got the pass done on Carson Bolin, pushed him back to 6th, so those guys all still battling it out. McIntosh slides all the way back to 7th now in front of his teammate Stevenson 8th. And then P9 right now is Wyatt Grant, but there's some shenanigans going on behind him. Tom Quinault, Ryan Anderson, and Jackson Lindsay are all nose to tail right here, 10th, 11th, and 12th, trying to run Wyatt Grant down here. And if you're Wyatt Grant, you do not want to fall back into that battle because it'll get nasty in a hurry.
Yeah, Wyatt Grant, just the main focus, keep it on two wheels, keep hitting your marks, because those three guys behind you. The thing about them, though, in this 250 class especially, is I feel like they have a lighter trigger that they're going to pull on making a pass or diving up the inside on someone. So three guys that close behind you, if you can keep a little bit of a gap and just kind of stay out of the crosshairs, I think Wyatt's in a decent spot here, but never comfortable to be on the bubble. There's a spot as he gets by Johnsmeyer, who's on the ground, and that takes out Jackson Lindsay. So now that moves Cano, I think, up into a transfer spot. He's going to be holding on to 9th right there. So both these two just trying to keep pushing their way forward. Now they have a little bit of a gap from the pack behind them.
Yeah, Quino, the rider out of France on the RBT Suzuki, now in the bubble position, and a little bit of gap behind him, as you mentioned. So for him, trying to settle down and follow Wyatt Grant forward. Don't want to fall back into the clutches of what's going on behind him. It's now Johnsmeyer 10th, Anderson 11th, and Nick Thomas-Sunis has moved up into 12th. So Thomas-Sunis, he's trying to fight his way into this main event and see if he can't get up there and battle with these guys down the stretch. Let's poke our head back out front. Our leader, Jake Spies, coming around to check in onto lap number 7 this time by. Bit of a short lap time, of course, because the first full lap doesn't commence until, basically a lap and a half in, and you go by the line onto lap number 2, 3 corners into the race. So kind of happens pretty fast. Honestly, I hadn't even thought of that you go over the finish line jump 2 corners into the race this weekend. That's kind of fast, even for real life. So interesting to see that dynamic and how it plays out. Oh, a little case right there for Spies. Going to lose a lot of time, and Joey Carter going to smell an advantage brewing right here as he has closed that gap down now on Jake Spies. But Spies seemed to recover pretty well, and he's been pretty comfortable out front here.
Yeah, and didn't get the best drive through that rhythm section, whereas Joey Carter absolutely nailed it. Oh, Spies gets a kick right there, stays on 2 wheels, just barely. Joey Carter's going to try to jump up the inside. Can he make the pass? Not yet. Ooh, gets bad front end lock right there, slides out. So both these guys going to reset to basically where they were, and a huge gap behind them. No one else to worry about, but Joey Carter, man, we spoke about him, especially getting good starts in the 450 class as well. He might be my breakout rider of the year in this 250 West class. He is just absolutely kind of turned another level. I'm curious to see what his outdoor skills are going to be. He's obviously nailing starts and putting in some practice, but I foresee him dropping his national number by a lot next year from that 83 and trying to get down as low as possible and, yeah, maybe be a title contender for next year because he's been looking great.
Carrying the Dr. Do brand to the top is what Joey Carter's plans are here in MX Simulator, doing a great job of it in MotoOption Supercross in 2025. Well, white flag coming out next time by since time has now expired, but there's still good battles to be had around the track. Right here we had a change for position as Tom Quino jumps over Hayden Stevenson. That is now a move for 5th place. McIntosh, Johnsmeyer, and now Thomas-Sunis is in the bubble position. So he is in 9th place right now, but don't look now. The 71 of Jackson Lindsay is right there, and Thomas-Sunis has got to get on his horse because we know Jackson Lindsay certainly has some speed. Into the whoops we go, and Thomas-Sunis a little bit cleaner than him through there. Rider down, that is Stevenson, I believe, picking it up on the 18, going through. Vanderkoy, and Johnsmeyer and Vanderkoy almost come together. Now Thomas-Sunis is sitting in the background of this, just hoping these guys don't go down. Vanderkoy sideways, he's coming almost to a stop. That's going to allow Jackson Lindsay by, and Vanderkoy's got to go to work here.
Yeah, man, the white flag hit because the leader went by. Now these guys are just finally getting on their last lap, so 1 full lap for all of these guys. This is like 5th through 10th here, so this is going to be a crazy battle, I think, coming down the line. Jackson Lindsay has shown that speed, but all these guys back here that we saw in the bubble must have had some mistakes, to kind of drop back and still be here as we saw Cano move up a bunch. So focusing on that, McIntosh missed the line right there. These guys all piling up, having to hit the brakes right there. Thomas-Sunis and Jackson Lindsay right there. Block pass on...
and Lindsay goes down. He runs into the back of Thomas-Sunis, who had cut underneath. Meanwhile, Jake Spies picks up the win. These guys going to the whoops. They're still battling, and McIntosh yard sales at the end of the whoops. He's down. That is going to put Vanderkoy and his teammate Caden Speck
Carson Bolin that got it?
Speck is getting wild. He gets sideways. Carson Bolin is trying to get by. Look at block pass, and he gets into him and takes him down. Speck stays up and is going to go through. So Speck was able to read what Carson Bolin was trying to cook up right there with that cut under, and it holds on to the final transfer spot. Man, that was actually complete chaos because everyone was crashing in the whoops, and Caden Speck takes advantage.
Yeah, I mean, that was absolutely crazy down to the wire there. Jackson Lindsay started out getting the short end of the stick, running into Thomas-Sunis, who elected to go inside, and he still hit that triple, so he ends up just 1 short, even though he probably would have had it easily handed to him right there. But man, what an absolutely crazy race to start out this 250. West Coast penultimate round here. And yeah, Jackson Lindsay just short heading to the LCQ, but shout out Jake Spies.
Yep, Jake Spies picks up the win in the end.
Thank
As
you.
you mentioned, Jackson Lindsay heading to that last chance qualifier. You had something to say, sir?
I said thank you for the timing. I was going to ask you that when that race happened.
But Spies takes the win in this one, getting himself set up for a main event where he has to do the damage and hope that his teammate Braden Tharp has a horrible night to keep this championship alive. Speaking of Braden Tharp, our points leader in this 250 West Division is going to the line right now for 250 heat number 2. The number 23 District Designs KTM sitting 39 points up on his teammate Jake Spies with 2 rounds left to go. So I guess if you're Tharp right here, obvious pressure situation just to even make the main event in the first place. How nervous are you if you're in his situation at the moment?
I think as like low nervous level as you can be as someone leading a title. I mean, knowing that you really just have to make it in. I think he's, he does this kind of in his sleep, I think. I think he gets off to a good start, even if you don't. I think he definitely has the speed above a lot of the guys in this class to work his way through into that top 9. And once you're in the main, I mean, it's basically guaranteed. If he makes the main and gets worse than 9th, 9th is just to clinch it. He could probably go 17-17 or something close to that, So I think really just kind of trust your instincts. You've been doing it all year. Just kind of get off the gate, eat clean. And I think if he's inside the top 10 on the start, he's going to be just fine.
All right, so we'll keep an eye on the 23 machine of Braden Tharp, see that he gets off the gate well. There he is right there as he was just enjoying the parade lap here. These guys always get a little bit of a warm-up lap as we all load into the server, make sure everyone's in. We call it a lineup check usually and see that everyone makes it in, and then we go racing here in MotoOption Supercross in MX Simulator. It looks like Tharp has lined himself up right next to the box here in Denver. It is 250 Heat 2 coming at you. 9 go through. Everyone else to the LCQ. Let's find out how it goes as we're off and running for 250 Heat number 2. Pretty good start for Tharp. Has a nose on the field. Can he control it into the first corner? Good block through the inside. Tucks the front end and stands up completely. So going to come out mid-pack there. Tough start for him. Meanwhile, Evan Holt rips a holy and gets up into the Davalos bales right away from that. So not a good situation for our buddy there, Holtzy. And that gives up the lead now to Max Wilczek. Wilczek on the Subway Triumph by the looks of it. Out front early in this one, and we'll keep an eye on where the 23 of Tharp is.
Yeah, poor Holtzy just got ahead of himself, tried to scrub a little bit too hard going into that corner, and ended up in the Davalos bales. Wilczek, though, nailing the section. Ooh, who is that rider in third? Cash Woods absolutely nailed that quad, scrubbed into it, almost made the pass there up the inside. Cash Woods has shown some elite speed. I would look for him to work his way forward through this field, try to get it early on. Gets a good triple right there. That's really, you got to focus on how these guys exit the whoops if they can get down on it. Did not mean to sing a song right there, but Cash Woods makes a pass. I love this double over triple line. It seems very consistent for the 250 guys. Not sure if 450 riders are going to have a different line there, but he's absolutely nailing it.
I'm sure Cool and the gang will appreciate the shout out. I'm not sure the kids even know that song, to be honest with you,
Get down on it.
It's definitely a banger if you've ever listened to good music in your life. Max Wilczek, though, getting away early in this heat race as Cash Woods now going to give on the chase. We got Race Coble in third, Arthur Miranda in fourth, and Nick Niles rounds out the top 5. Ohashi, Vic, Holt, and Schiabro are the transfer spots, which means outside looking in is the championship leader, Braden Tharp. Now it's time to maybe feel a little bit of the nerves sneaking in right here because he's got to fight his way in through this heat race, of course, to have a shot at clinching tonight. Doesn't want to go to the LCQ, and he's got some work to do a little bit. He's got 4 spots to make up here right now.
Yeah, I think Braden Tharp, though, if he hits his marks, nail the whoops, and just kind of hit the rhythms, just do the jumps, he's going to have enough guys making mistakes as he almost gets a spot right there, pushed a little bit wide. The problem is these guys go back and forth so much, even showing a wheel to him right there. Braden Tharp unable to make it happen, trying to cut underneath here, misses the rhythm right there just a little bit, but has the inside line, absolutely goes up and makes a beautiful block pass, getting into a transfer spot, even though timing, actually hasn't been 12th, sorry. I think if he just hits his marks, enough guys will make mistakes that he is going to just kind of work his way up quite easily here.
Yeah, he's just going to try to latch onto these guys, I think. And, I mean, everybody is still so close together. In fact, let's go on board with Tharp. And, he's got the old
Oh my
neck brace
gosh.
in the way.
What are we
situation.
doing?
We got rookie moves going on here.
Here's a spot.
The first person model in the game. But moves up to 11th spot. We'll stick on board with him here for just a little bit so you guys get a perspective of this. Another rider down in the whoops up ahead. Oh, front
Off
end
the
tuck.
bike.
That was a
into the
weird
bales.
fall. He just had the front end push over the top of the berm right there. And now he's got to get going into the whoops with no drive. Gets through them mostly pretty clean, little sideways. But okay, now are you nervous, Andrew Wood?
I think he's a little bit nervous. His heart rate is definitely up. I think it's definitely doable. For those of you that don't know, when the berm is sloped up like that, it ends up going flat on top, and then the bales are just behind it. He just pushed a little bit too high, let his front wheel go over, and slid his front end out there, and then just hit his shoulder too hard on the ground and went down off the bike. Let's see, he's in 13th. I think he's still okay. 4 spots. You can see in the rhythm section coming this way. So many riders so close. He just has to stay on 2 wheels and stay away from these guys crashing and all of the hecticness that they get into. They will go down, and you just need to be there to capitalize and not get caught up in it.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, there's a 4-rider group right in front of them right now, and they're getting a little bit dicey with each other as Cooper Hunt gets past and almost comes across Braden Tharp's nose. Now we enter the whoops one more time, and Tharp is really struggling in those things as well as Cooper Hunt lays it down. Going to be a few positions right there. Tharp actually moves to 10th because there's 2 other riders down at the exit of the whoop. So Race Coble, the next guy on the track in front of him. Now he gets sideways, he goes down, and that is a transfer spot for Tharp. So let's see if he can hold on to this as he cases that triple. And finally in position, but not out of the woods just yet, as Race Coble almost goes over the bars in the background. And Tharp just trying to get out of all of this because, man, he doesn't want to fall back into the clutches again. There's 5 riders still right behind him.
Yeah, I think this is where he can lock in, though, and he's not worried. I think he's looking so far ahead, maybe missing his marks, because when he has 4 riders ahead of him that he passed all in that last lap just by them making mistakes, nothing he really did on his own, I think now he can kind of look at where he's going instead of looking ahead trying to see if those guys are casing a rhythm or cross-jumping or falling. So I think now with such a big gap ahead of him, he's just going to kind of cruise, and he's got probably 6 or 7 seconds up to the next rider in front of him. So he's going to close that gap for sure, maybe get a couple more spots for some insurance. But those guys will be making mistakes, but don't have to, kind of look ahead and worry about what everyone else is doing. He can focus on himself.
Well, he's locked in right now to a good position and trying to move forward. Big gap up to Ryan Pinkerton, though. Ohashi, Schiavro, Niles, Vic, Wilczek, and our new leader, Cash Woods. We missed the pass up front, focusing on our championship leader, making sure he makes it in. But Cash Woods, man, speaking of locked in, this guy has been on rails of late. Of course, won in Arlington earlier this year at the Triple Crown, won at Seattle up against Joey Carter in a titanic fight in the main event back then. So 2 wins on the season for him already. Looking for a third and even going 2-4-2 in that first rhythm section on a 250. Cash Woods has shown up here in Denver ready to win his 3rd main event of the year.
Yeah, I think tonight could be his night too. I mean, there's no pressure, right? All the pressure on Tharp, but once he gets in the main event, it's kind of just survival mode, I think this is really opening the door for a Jake Spieth or a Cash Woods to secure another main event win, and I would not be surprised. The way Cash has been riding, he looks so comfortable. You just see him hitting that quad and throwing down a little whip. Every time you kind of see some less tightness and more, scrubbing through rhythm sections and all that, a little bit more style, I feel like that's how you can tell how comfortable a rider is on the track. Getting a huckabuck in the whoops right there, but going to be able to hold on to it way back and forth. But I mean, he's under pretty much complete control. Those whoops are hard for everyone, and I think the rest of the track you can really tell just how locked in he is.
Making me feel real good about myself, honestly, after my
your lap was better than that. Anyone go to Start Your Systems Instagram, check out the hot lap Kellen did, the preview lap. Not so much a hot lap, I wouldn't call it that, but preview lap, and see Kellen's line through the whoop section and the section after that. Cash Woods actually was worse than you, so that's impressive.
You know what I like to say about my laps, though, to be honest, is that it's like the 3 little bears in their porridge. Like this one's too hot, this one's too cold. My lap is just right, like we're just going the right speed around the racetrack.
So you think you have some laps that you put in that are too hot? You can't show that. You can't show the people. That, no. Yeah, this is gonna just make everyone that races feel bad. So we got to slow down. Look at that quad single.
Wow.
I was gonna ask Braden Carter if that was possible. Didn't want to take up too much of his time. I expect you to see more of that if the 450 guys can get on the brakes. But Cash Woods might take this thing home pretty easily.
Yeah, he is well on his way to get into the job done here and move into the main event with a race victory. 250, Heat 2 in Denver goes to Cash Woods. It's Wilczek second, Jackson Vick third, Ohashi fourth, Ryan Pinkerton fifth, Schiabro sixth, Tharp made it all the way back to seventh in this one. So not ideal gate selection, but certainly could have been much worse than this. And looks like he's going to just hold on to the position right here.
We got a transfer battle?
Oh, close. And then Niles and Evan Holt is by himself.
Yeah, sad.
Yeah, okay. Evan Holt by himself in P9, going to go on through. Jeremy Godbout and Race Coble heading to the last chance qualifier. Same with Jet Holyhead, who's third in this qualifying earlier today and in the championship. 12th in this one. He's headed to the LCQ. Tyler Show, Arthur Miranda, Dustin Garrett, Anthony Pichon, Cooper Hunt, Zach Fisher, Andre Feitosa, and myself in warm-up. Having a tough time making the main event. All these other guys ahead of them are headed through. Kit's pretty fire tonight by Cash Woods too. I like it.
Yeah, I like the rainbow. I might have to go through and see if we got some style check stuff going on. Anyone else kind of competing for it?
We got the red and black there from Wilczek, blue and red from Jackson Vick, default skins, Pinkerton.
Ooh, that's kind of hot, actually.
Not
up
too
close.
shabby.
I think everyone's just kind of stepped their game up. You would expect, them to finally have some hot kits for every single rider after sending you about 500 packs throughout the season. So finally, the 2 rounds to go, they start to lock in, and everyone comes out with some banger gear setups.
Yeah, I mean, I don't love downloading new packs, but I do love the fact that when I do get a new pack downloaded, that we get a new fire kit to look at. Because I feel like what ends up happening in this game is that, people more or less have their, preferred skins or whatever that they use to start the year, and then they wear them out too much because they're like, they want to wear the most fire skins. Like if you include just like a really basic, like black and white kit or something in a pack, people are like, I'd rather use like the more vibrant or colorful or sick looking skins than just a basic setup. And so they never use it. And then by the time we're around 6, they're like, I need some fresh stuff to make myself look good.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I would always switch for all the pro races, but I definitely had the setup I would like to ride, that week, or maybe right after the race, I would change for the next week, just get used to seeing it because I ride in third person. But when I'm not playing, I mean, every single gear team I've been on has had a red, white, and blue gear set and American flag helmet for me for probably the last 8-9 years. So I pretty much ran that exclusively, in my own time. But yeah, back when I was racing, I like to switch it up every week. I liked 450 class, not really match, everyone kind of run their own thing. And then 250 class, it is fun when they match. Also helps us keep track of teammates too, because half the guys don't have the team in their name, half the bikes look the same. And so I think it is cool when the 250 class especially kind of does it how they do it in real life, and kind of, hey, let's all run the blue gear. Like I feel like our teams would do that, and you'd have 3-4 riders on the track. You can spot your friends out there, if they make a mistake or you're catching on them. So
good to see Marmora, New Jersey's finest, Jeremy Smith, gracing his presence
with that number
back
4.
At the races
is he
again.
just trying to get points?
He is, but
keep
he needs
that number.
100. He needs 100.
What? Why?
You need 100 now to keep your number. So
no shot.
Yeah,
I would never. Didn't it used to be 25?
Yeah, but not anymore. So
dude,
we'll see if he wins this and/or another 5 motos this season or not. But here we go, off and running, 450 Heat 1. Oh, big start for Hubbard, and then almost loops his Larry, so has to grab the clutch a few times. Allows the fast Frenchman of Alexis Leclerc to come through and grab the whole shot in this one. So the number 7 machine out in front. Got Alec Horn with him up here, Ben Kafa, Aaron Rockefeller, and Caleb Hall. But Leclerc, maybe the Leclerc starts are back, man. He's firing on all cylinders again.
Yeah, he might have figured something out, maybe hacked his game to go back to where you could switch your setup mid-start like we used to and run a start setup. But Leclerc basically had the game patched just because he was so good and figured out something with the starts, by the way, in case you didn't know. Leclerc, though, had a nice little quad double off the start as a couple riders go down on 3rd and 4th. But Leclerc holding on to this start pretty easily. Alec Horn, though, not letting him get away as Aaron Rockefeller slid into 3rd with Cepeda in 4th. Leclerc gets a great drive through the whoops. So, oh my goodness, he did not hit the quad. He would have made that pass easily. Cepeda around the outside, Alec Horn tried to dive up the inside on him. Wow, what a run through the whoops. It's hard to embarrass Leclerc like that through the whoops.
Yeah, I mean, Alec Horn is giving him the business right now, but not able to make the pass into the lead just yet. He's going to try to regroup, refocus, and make another run at it here in just a moment as Leclerc now starts to lurch out to a good little bit of a lead here. 0.8 seconds, 55.1 at the end of lap number 1 for his personal best, of course. Emmanuel Cepeda, 3rd. Jeff Cooper, 4th. Nerona, 5th. That is your top 5 positions. And it's JS4, Jeremy Smith in 6th. Braden Castellaneta, 7th. Jacob Hubbard, 8th. And Chase Blakely rounds out the final transfer spots right now. A couple notables outside looking in. Dylan Dallaire, our 250 East competitor, who's always blazing fast, is in 10th. We got T-Lang back in the 13th spot. Pablo Vial, who is second fast qualifier, is 15th. And a few others also buried down the field as Blakely holds on to this transfer spot. Seems like the 450 guys are going through the whoops faster, but still crashing just as much as we had another rider down there in transition.
Yeah, it almost looks like, I mean, sometimes they try to build them the same, or, you know, they say, oh, they're the same, but it almost feels like, depending on the run or how the track kind of is, that there's normally like a problem whoop where you're like, okay, the 5th whoop is what's happening, or the 3rd to last is what's kicking everyone. Tonight, it kind of seems to be right in the middle, which would probably be that 5th whoop, where that's what's upsetting people. They get into them, what looks like really clean, then they can kind of hit a misstep, and then some guys miss it, and they're just dialed through them, and then sometimes they're trying to wrangle it through the last couple whoops, and it really is hard because it's such a high-speed whoop section, and they're trying to hit that triple-double, maybe quad-single or whatever afterwards. You really have to be on your marks instead of just slamming the brakes and then hitting a corner afterwards.
Well, what you're watching right now is Dylan Dallaire in the 8th spot. Enzo Buttigni is in 9th, just behind him on the bubble. And Xander Brion, the 762 ride, is closing up behind him. So a couple of Frenchmen familiar with racing each other over in the EMF Championship and the EU Series of Race Factor Gaming as well. Now gracing their presence here in the North American Championship this evening. And a pass maybe being made by Xander Brion trying to jump down the inside. Nice recovery there by Buttigni to triple into the corner and hold position. It seems like Brion is fired up and ready to try to make this pass. I love when we have two guys that are fairly close in speed and also fairly consistent as these two are battling it out, because it just is so much of a game of inches then at that point to try to gain a little bit of advantage and try to set up a pass.
Yeah, I think when I'm watching these battles, I kind of just sit there and just keep an eye on Enzo Buttigni and see if he hangs a wheel in any of the rhythm sections, or if he kind of messes up a corner or anything like that. You normally see that first, and then if you can see that, you can kind of predict, okay, he got a little bit of a kick there through the whoops, or see the drive from the rider behind him. Just like that, there was a drive from right behind him with Brion, but Jeff Cooper, or not the Chase B, goes down. Today, Junior. Chase B, though, went down at the whoops, and then it's just kind of survival mode, try to avoid that down rider. Frank Jackson, though, moves past him. Heilman, Hall, all these guys trying to work their way up to now take advantage and get into a transfer spot. Hall was back in 16th earlier, worked his way up. I think he's in
11th
now.
Just following Jeff Cooper through there. So Brion did move into the final transfer spot. Buttigni, of course, 8th. Dallaire, 7th. Castellaneta, 6th. Jeremy Smith in 5th. And I mean, honestly, it just blows my mind every single time Jeremy Smith, it's like the dude doesn't pick up a controller for months and then he'll pick this game up and immediately just be a consistent top 10 or top 5 type of dude in this game. And here we are back at it again. And for those of you that are maybe new viewers at home, have no idea who this gentleman is, not only is he a current licensed professional AMA Pro Motocross racer, and it has been for about a decade now, but he's also the second winningest rider in this game's history. That's right, 56 career wins amongst 450 and 250 class over his career. And every once in a while now in a blue moon, we'll see him show up and show what he's still made of out here.
Can we talk about how hot his SYS kit is?
I mean, I didn't want to, you know. But
I mean, the Yamaha itself, absolutely stunning. But then that blue and white kit with the matching boots, gloves, helmet, goggles, everything. This might just have to be lit kit for the night, and I'm not biased at all. And if I could run, you know, I might have to get on sim and run a few laps. Not on Supercross, that stuff's hard, but maybe throw a couple whips in my beautiful matching kit and see if I can look as good as Jeremy Smith does right now.
Yeah, I mean, he is getting away a little bit from Braden Castellaneta, who just rolled the windows up at the end of the whoop section. A few riders going to go by, Dallaire as well as Brion, and then Caleb Hall jumping over top. Frank Jackson was right there and then went down. So now Castellaneta ends up side by side in a battle with Pablo Vial, who has made his ascension all the way into a transfer spot. When we first checked in with him, he was in about 16th place. Now he's just moved up into 9th. even went off the track there momentarily and was able to get back on and keep going. Time has expired, but these guys are just checking in onto the second to last lap as the leader out front, Alexis Leclerc, still on the other half of the racetrack right now. But if you're Vial, obviously the charge has worked. I guess just don't slow down at this point. Keep moving forward if possible.
Yeah, and Caleb Hall also moved up from that far back, and so with these two riding with each other, I feel like they're both on their marks, but Vial's going to dive up the inside and make a crazy move, slams him off the track. He's going to jump back on, tries to go get some redemption, hits the bail, doesn't do it. Vial's now going to lose a spot around the inside. Look at that. Braden Castaneda up the inside on the 22 machine, but sending it down the outside of the whoops. One hits the quad, one hits the double. What's going to be the better line here? Wow, that was absolutely insane. And we have a battle on our hands as the leader crossed the line. The time expired, so white flag next time these guys hit the finish. Vial hits the quad, tries to go up the inside.
Yeah, he's trying to get by Castellaneta. They're both in transfer spots right now. The two riders on your screen, 8th and 9th right now. Castellaneta on that Yamaha and Vial on the Honda. They're actually kind of working together a little bit, pushing each other away from the battle behind. Chase Blakely, Ben Kafa, Caleb Hall still sitting back there, hoping to get up there and ruffle some feathers as, a little bit long right there for Castellaneta. Case is again going to lose a ton of momentum through here. And is that Delaire, I think, was down? Trying to get a number on it. I think it was Delaire. Yes, it is. And Kafa goes by. Blakely goes through into a transfer spot as Leclerc takes the win out front. 450 Heat 1 belongs to the 7. Now Blakely trying to survive as Ben Kafa
sending
Hail Marys the whoops, gets sideways and goes down. So it should be Blakely's for the taking here. He's just got a few corners left to go, and he will make it through. Leclerc, Horn, Cepeda, Brion, Jeremy Smith, Jacob Hubbard, Pablo Vial, Braden Castellaneta, and now this gentleman right here, Chase Blakely, all headed through to the main event here tonight in Denver in 450 Heat number 1. Delaire side by side with John Heilman over the line, headed to the LCQ. Ben Kafa also heading there as well. Caleb Hall trying to jump into the face of the finish line. Jeff Cooper, Tyler Lang, the number 5 machine, going to the LCQ here tonight. Enzo Buttigni, Frank Jackson, who almost won a race earlier this year. Aaron Rockefeller, Ben Nerona, also going to the LCQ as well. So, chaos in 450 Heat number 1, bringing the action to you guys. And we're going to send you guys to a quick break. We'll be back on the other side of this one with more action in MotoOption Supercross. You're watching round 16 here in Denver. Be right back.
MotoOption, a family-owned and operated motorsports apparel and accessories company. We design and print all of our apparel in-house, ensuring top quality from start to finish. Created by racers, for racers. Our products are racer tested and approved by a team of motorsports enthusiasts just like you. We value our customers because they're not just buyers, they're part of the MotoOption family. Join us and ride with confidence. Visit shopmotooption.com and gear up today.
Welcome back into round number 16 of MotoOption Supercross live here on Start Your Systems TV. Kellen Brower in the booth, joined by Andrew Wood, and we are ready to bring the action. 450 Heat 2 is coming up, and this one is going to be a good one. If you missed our pre-race show this evening, you maybe don't know that there is only 2 points with 2 rounds to go between Colby Eagland on the number 24 District Designs KTM and his 4-time and reigning Supercross champion Braden Carter on the number 1. So Carter 2 back, Eagland 2 up, and they both get to line up next to each other in this heat race. Any shenanigans afoot? Do you think one of them maybe tries to make sure that they don't make the main event tonight?
I don't think between each other, no. I don't really know him. I don't think Eagland's that type of guy. I think you have to watch out for some of the other guys in the rest of the field. They do a lot of questionable stuff that I feel like goes unpunished sometimes. But I think those two, it's going to straight up, Eagland has been a pretty good starter, and Carter needs to kind of find those again. Said it's really start dependent, that and the whoop, so we'll see if he can nail it.
Just realized that I believe I got sent Eagland's red plate and I totally forgot to actually put it in the game. So that is my bad. I will make sure we get it before the main event begins. But of course, Eagland just getting the red plate here in these final couple rounds throws me for a bit of a loop. All right, here we go. 450 Heat 2, final heat race of the night, ready to go in Denver. We're off and running. And a good start for the 6 of Seth Carr out of the middle. Let's see if he controls it into turn 1. Gonna get there first, but he's got to get this thing turned around up the inside. Noah Bindis is officially going to get credited with the whole shot, but The 6 of Seth Carr launches into the race lead and then gets hit from behind and goes down. That is going to push Braden Carter right into the lead. And boy, oh boy, what a huge sigh of relief that is, because Carter's biggest detriment has been his starts this season. It has not been a good situation for the one off the gate in the last half of this championship. Finally, he's out front in the heat race.
Yeah, I mean, and Eaglin is right behind him, though, so they can kind of pace themselves and figure out, you know, if they've kind of got the stuff to match what the others doing. Braden Carter qualified 0.8 a lap faster than him. We'll see if Eaglin found something out. It's Braden Carter, a small slide out there. Eaglin, though, pushes a little bit too wide, but he is right on the rear wheel. Let's see at the whoops. Braden Carter's strong point, and he absolutely sends it through, pulls a little bit of a gap. Eaglin, though, right behind him. I kind of forgot to note where Braden Carter's gate was. I was talking with him about it. Maybe just running the inside line and playing that safe bet, hugging the bales, but not sure where he started, but wherever he did, it definitely worked, and we have a battle on our hands.
Yeah, this is fun to see the two title combatants end up 1-2 in this heat race, and they're already starting to put a little bit of time on Noah Bindis behind them. D. Davis, Blake O'Brien, Brandon Larson, Garrett Hollenbeck, Austin Partlow, Bryce Whelan, your top 9 at the end of one full lap. But it's the number 1 and the number 24 out front here in Denver that are giving us a bit of a show. And could you imagine if this is the preview for the main event that we might be getting right here? These two end up out front battling each other. Of course, 2 points in it between them. So if Carter were to win tonight with an Eaglin second, they would be 1 point apart heading into the finale, just about as good as it could get. But obviously, we got some guys that were in that other heat race that would like to say something about it. And if you're Carter in this situation, you're just hoping you can maybe get a few of those guys between you and Eaglin tonight as well.
Yeah, I think what Carter's going to do right now, this is my prediction just for this heat race, is I would expect him to set the fastest lap of the race as he just did right there across the line, but do that pretty much every single lap. I think he's going out there hot lapping. He said, okay, I proved I can get the start, and now I'm going to prove that I might be 0.8 a lap faster than Colby Eaglin every time I go around this track, and really just kind of cement this. I think this is a huge statement ride in this heat race, and I think we're seeing it as he pulls the gap out to 1.8 seconds already with Colby Eaglin in trail. But yeah, Braden Carter, man, he is absolutely on fire here. And you can tell by the fact that he's not backing off the whoops here. He's hitting them as fast as he can every single lap. Yeah. And there goes the quad single.
53.7 last time by. I mean, he is definitely fired up right now. So I'm trying to get this dang file to work so that we can make sure we have the correct stuff for Mr. Colby Eaglin, but it's just not wanting to cooperate with me for some reason. So hopefully we'll get that in game. But yeah, Carter right now really showing why he is a champion of this series. And when the pressure is on and you need to rise to the occasion, that is when you start seeing the best version of someone come out. And if you're Braden Carter in this situation, I mean, like you said, we needed to see that response tonight in any facet, whether it was just a good start to his evening like this heat race or getting off the gate in the main event, which we still have yet to be seen. But yeah, Carter just hasn't really had it going his way. And if you're in his situation, you're just like, man, I got to get some momentum flowing back my direction in some facet because it's just not working out so far.
Yeah, I mean, he looks great in the whoops. I mean, when does he not? But 53.6 to a 54.0 last time around. We'll see what that is this time. He is pulling that gap out just a little bit. Might even be 0.6 faster this time with where they were. But this is, like I said, huge statement ride. If Braden Carter can get through this with small mistakes like casing that triple there and not much more, this is bad news for everyone else. Drop back a little bit, 54.1 to a 54.1 with just that case at the end. But if you're keeping it even, I mean, dude, he's got to feel so good. If he goes this whole race without crashing, he is going to have so much confidence going through to the main event.
Yeah, so he's just trying to basically get away from Eaglin, and Eaglin's not having it, man. 1.6 seconds still close up here. Bindis now 5 seconds back. D. Davis, B. Lars, O'Brien, Whelan, Carr, and Hollenbeck in a transfer spot. So not really even close of a battle to be seen back here just yet, which is why we've been focusing on the lead battle. And I guess if you're Colby Eaglin in this situation, keep putting the heat on, maybe force an error. I don't know if gate pick really matters, but it kind of maybe comes down to a little bit of bragging rights between these two in this heat race, right? Just to come out on top and put the pressure on the other person.
I mean, I think we're going to see Colby Eaglin crosses with another 54.1, so that's 2 in a row with the best lap of a 54.0. It might be 0.4 off of Braden Carter's fastest lap, but guess what? He's still only 2.4 seconds back 5 minutes into this race. If he can do this, you know, he can do 20 minutes within 10 seconds of Braden Carter. Obviously a big mistake right there. But if he can keep it like that, he's known as Mr. Consistent, who doesn't really have the, that blazing fast speed that Braden Carter does. And what has Braden Carter struggled with this year? It's crashing too much, making mistakes on his own, whether it be up front starting or fighting through the pack. I think Colby Eaglin can sit here and pray that maybe he gets a 6th place start and gets a little frazzled. Colby can just ride these laps over and over and over again, and he's going to then have all the pressure back on Braden Carter.
Yeah, 3.6 seconds now. The gap getting an onboard perspective of what Eaglin is seeing, and the gap kind of opening up ahead of him. And I mean, shout out Noah Bindis as well, kind of hanging with these guys, 8 seconds off the lead, but still the only one really within earshot of the two out front is they are just pulling away. Belar's inside the top 5, Whelan 6th, Shirley 8th, and Hollenbeck still 9th. But we have got a fight brewing. Seth Carr on the number 6 machine has now closed up to the rear fender of Garrett Hollenbeck in what was a much more comfortable situation for the EVP Honda machine up there is now much more dire, and Seth Carr is trying to make it happen. Dualies over the Supercross triple, having some fun up here. Man, Seth Carr looks fired up to try to make this pass happen and happen right now. Yeah,
Carr scrubbing that quad to the inside. Is he going to do it? He probably could have jumped to the exit, but would have risked taking them both out. Carr has enough experience there. Small mistake, blows out of that rut, is going to give Hollenbeck some breathing room as the leaders are across, and that is the white flag for them. Hollenbeck actually was in the transfer spot. Padani was in 10th, made a mistake, and allowed Padani in. Padani said earlier 450s are very fast, and made it into a transfer spot, but fell out. So, Hollenbeck, wow, clipped that so weird. His bike was still sideways, slammed into the ground, and that's going to move him out and let D. Davis move into the final transfer spot.
Yeah, D. Davis actually looks like he maybe just made a mistake and allowed Seth Carr to go by just in front of him. So a little bit of musical chairs going on back here throughout the field. But what has not changed, what has changed, on the last lap, Braden Carter lays it down after the whoops. Must have got it a little bit wrong on entry to that triple-double into the corner. And that just hands it right over to Colby Eaglin, who is only going to lead one lap of the heat race, but it's the lap that matters the most. Colby Eaglin wins 450 heat number 2, and he's got optimum gate pick rolling into the main event as Braden Carter will roll up 3rd into the main event.
So Braden Carter ran the fastest. I don't know if we have a battle for 9th, but Braden Carter ran the fastest lap. Devin Davis has a little bit of pressure on him. Johnny Padani going to try to do something crazy here. Quad up. Is he going to dive to the inside? Devin Davis going to protect. Padani not going to be able to make it. So he comes across the line, tries to send it to the timing stripe, just short as D. Davis goes through with half seconds to spare. But Braden Carter, Kellen, that's exactly what I talked about, was Eaglin's going to run that 54.0 to 54.2 the whole time. Braden Carter did run a 53.3, 0.7 faster in that race, but he went down one time, and guess what? That's enough to give away the win. I think that's Colby Eaglin. I think there's so much momentum there. The whoops are supposed to be Braden's strong point, and he's had, an issue with making mistakes, whereas Colby has been Mr. Consistent, and that might win him the title. I think Eaglin is going to have a lot of confidence after that last lap. Coming across that line, he goes, okay, let's do that again, and I can extend my points lead.
Absolutely, and we'll see if he can do the same exact thing in the main event. All right, I did get those skins now, so going to go ahead and send you guys to a quick commercial break, get this cleaned up for you guys, and we'll be back on the other side of this with more MotoOption Supercross. So sit tight, we'll be back in just a moment. Is coming this fall, and if you haven't been paying attention, you're missing out. A whole new game designed from the ground up by a super team of MX Bikes modders. Motocross the game will feature realistic physics, and it will be available on consoles as well as PC. What you're watching here is some alpha gameplay from the team as they continue to make steps towards a complete game at launch. Don't wait any longer and be the first in line by pre-ordering the game now through the link in the description below, and be sure to use the code SYSMTG, that's SYSMTG, all one word, when you check out to get 2% off your pre-order. We can't wait to shred this exciting new game with you all very soon. Welcome back into round number 16 of MotoOption Supercross live here in Denver, round number 16 of 17 in this 2025 championship. And If you're just tuning in with us here this evening, or if you've been over on the TikTok side, haven't followed along with us all the way through, the championship fight is as good as it gets in the 450 class. 2-point lead for Colby Eagland over Braden Carter, and they just went 1-2 in 450 heat number 2 with Eagland getting the nod after a last lap crash for Braden Carter. So now we've seen them battle it out. Now we're going to roll into our last chance qualifiers, 250 LCQ. Coming up right now, coming at you live on the stream. And this is one of our favorite points of the night, Mr. Andrew Wood. We get to see, in this case, 17 riders battle for 4 positions in this final 250 West last chance qualifier of the season. And yeah, there's going to be some unhappy people going home early tonight.
Yeah, I mean, these are always the best race of the night. I mean, we had an amazing one already in the 250 heats, but we got 2 really good chances to see some action down to the wire. Pretty good track, I think, honestly, Kellen. I think it's worked out pretty good. Maybe one line in a couple sections, but I think that allows everyone to kind of stay close. We've seen a lot of 4 or 5 rider trains going into, very crucial rhythm sections or big bull corners where, a small mistake can let someone kind of dive up the inside and make something happen. So I'm so stoked. These are the best races of the night. And I want to give a quick shout out to my boy Kamakai, watching in Hawaii right now.
All right.
So
what's going on, Hawaii?
Yeah, Kai also had an accident a long time ago at Glen Helen and paralyzed as well. So he's fought hard, had a strong recovery, but that's my guy. I almost wore his shirt tonight, but I told him I'll wear it next week.
All right, well, we'll Hawaii it up in the studio next week. Maybe I'll wear some pineapples as well to finish the season out. But here we go, off and running to start the last chance qualifier in the 250 class. 4 go through. Everybody else heads home early. Big pile up, getting pushed wide. I think Jax Lindsay or someone on the 71 machine, I don't know if Jax Lindsay's even in this, was going all kinds of chaos into turn number 1, and it's going to be led through by Tyler Show momentarily. Jet Holyhead gets to the front, though, and that's big news right there for the number 87 machine. Again, mixing it up, still kind of within a shot of getting some good positions in this championship, and needs to make it out of this LCQ.
Yeah, speaking of white drizzle, too, I might eat some pineapple for you next week, Kellen. But Jet Holyhead off to a great start here so far in the LCQ. Got a little bit of pressure from him right behind, but honestly, I'm looking back right now, these 3 have separated themselves by almost 5 seconds to the rest of the field. So these guys, if I were them, try to keep all on 2 wheels here and just let this 3-rider train kind of pull away. If you're going to lose the spot, just give it up and keep it on 2 wheels. Rogan McIntosh was leading early on in the first 250 heat. He's 5 seconds back, but in a transfer spot, Jackson Lindsay following him. But there's a little bit of spicy action up here up front.
Yeah, so it is Holyhead leading the way from Show and Mortberg. Then a bit of a gap now to McIntosh, Rogan McIntosh, and it is Jackson Lindsay, who fortunately for him, because so many people went down on the first lap, got it up from that crash and is still inside of a shot at getting into this main event. He's in 5th. 4th place is the spot he needs, and that is being held down by Rogan McIntosh. And look, I mean, these are all guys that we've seen battle up front, battle for podiums as McIntosh goes over the bars on the triple right there. Weird crash right there out of the number 62. Carson Bolin goes by, going to lose a spot to Cooper Hunt. Dustin Garrett now going to be right behind him. But yeah, a lot of these guys in this race are guys we see as staple, even top 5 guys in this 250 West division. So weird to see how many of them ended up in the LCQ. Is Jax Lindsay going for a ride, bouncing his way through the whoops and corrals it nicely, but that could have been detrimental as well.
Yeah, you know what's crazy is I don't know if it's the 4th or 5th whoops. It seemed like something kicks them off. They have like a double and then a triple out that they're falling into, and they have that triple out to save it, and it's just off the whoops, but it's not by design. It actually kind of helps them get some nice saves right there because you have time to straighten out the bike in the air. But man, it's also crazy. Some of the names I'm seeing: Anthony Pichon, Ryan Chowsey, Austin Bear, Rogan McIntosh fell way back. Just guys that, yeah, were seemingly like title contender, race winner guys that we're seeing in the LCQs as of late. Jackson Lindsay, terrible run through that whoop section or that rhythm section though. Thought he was going to get on the rear wheel of Mortberg, but both of them making mistakes pretty evenly. But 2 seconds gap behind them to 5th place. So both these guys keeping on 2 wheels is the only thing they're thinking about. And do not crash whatever the hell you do.
Yeah, I mean these 2 guys are in. Don't worry about it. You know, whatever. Let Jackson Lindsay go by for a pass, I guess, if you're Logan Mortberg in this situation. But you got time. You got 10 seconds behind you. There's no reason to make this situation worse for either of you guys than already being in the last chance qualifier. Just make it through. So I think Jax Lindsay and Logan Mortberg are maybe trying to work together, play it safe. Look at Mortberg even just lets him go. Just is like, I don't want anything to do with this battle. You're faster. Go ahead and get away from me, man. Oh, and Mortberg slides out after the triple, so not ideal right there either. But yes, as Jackson Lindsay moves up to third, still good fight going on up front. Tyler Show is keeping the heat on Jed Holyhead. Holyhead 54.9, 55.2 out of Tyler Show in this race as well. But these two guys, the field ski and snowboard teammates, getting away from the field and doing so together. Nice job by both of them.
Yeah, it's pretty nice when you can start up front with one of your teammates and just kind of ride. Especially a lot of these guys are in the same voice chat. They're kind of talking their way through their race. You know, they both get a good start. Oh, where you're at, or where are you at? You know, I'm right behind you. Let's go. You know, and you just kind of settle into a pace. Some people like complete silence. Some riders like to kind of talk the whole time and hang out with their friends. And you know, maybe they're doing that. But either way, it's even if they're not talking to each other, it's very comforting to kind of ride with someone you know they're going to keep it clean out there. And yeah, I mean, Show and White Drizzle are just up front, just making it look easy right now, honestly, gapping the rest of the field and making a pretty boring LCQ here. We're going to have to wait for the 450 class to hopefully have some action.
Yeah, I mean, for these guys, this is the best case scenario, and if the last chance qualifier, you just get out front with your teammate. You guys are probably hanging out in the Discord chat together, talking about the race, letting each other know what you're seeing on the racetrack. And in this situation, that's the best thing you can hope for, really, is just to have this kind of moment. Meanwhile, Logan Mortberg is still holding on to fourth place. Jerome Godbout just got around the downed Race Coble, who was down at the end of the whoops. It is a 6-second gap up to the final transfer spot. So Mortberg, even though he's now all by himself, has done a pretty good job of just stabilizing in this position. And with 2 laps to go in this race, I guess at this point, maybe start doubling stuff. I don't know. Like, how easy do you want to play this at this point?
I think if you have a line that you're not 100% confident with, this section, once you nail the first one, seems pretty easy. They kind of keep their momentum. You know, maybe you double single this if you don't get a good run, you know. He goes to triple it, case up a little bit, but maybe a little bit slower, a little bit more cautious through the whoops. But I think, and then maybe the rhythm section before the finish, you just take a little bit more of a second, maybe in the corner. Don't try to hit everything as fast as normal, just to keep it on 2. That's the easiest way to kind of guarantee yourself that transfer.
Meanwhile, we say that he should be taking it easy. He's still going for all the lines all the way around the racetrack, but perhaps the white flag will change his tune, because white flag is in the air. Holyhead, Show, Lindsay, and now Mortberg over the line. 5-second gap behind him still to Jerome Godbout, trying to close this thing down and make it a race here for the final transfer spot. It's not looking good unless Logan Mortberg has another big moment in him, and if it does be a big moment, he almost probably needs a crash to help him through, because even a slide out at this rate, Mortberg should still be able to pick it up and hold on for the transfer spot. He's nailing the rhythm section here. Got to make one more clean run in the whoops, get over that triple cleanly as well, and things are looking smooth. Jet Holyhead, though, did exactly what he needed to do in this LCQ, got up front, checked out, and White Drizzle takes the 250 last chance qualifier victory here in Denver. Tyler Show second, Jackson Lindsay third. Mortberg off the track a little bit, but he did make it through the whoops, so this is just a little bit of a last-minute mistake and a roll in there. Now we're doubling this, even nose high right there, just having some fun with it. Logan Mortberg is on his way to the main event here in Denver, P4 in the LCQ. He looks stoked about it. Jerome Godbout will be going home early. Race Coble, Ryan Cheesecake Chowsey, Ryan Anderson, Dustin Garrett, Arthur Miranda, Anthony Pichon, Rogan McIntosh, Austin Bears, Zach Fisher, Carson Bolin, Cooper Hunt, and Jacob Arnbrister. All going home early tonight, and will need to make it into a showdown next week to make another main event this season, which is much tougher than what they could have done here tonight.
Yeah, dude, Cheesecake Chowsey, by the way, came from so far back. He was in like 18th or 19th when I was naming off those names that we kind of expected to get in. Also, Anthony Piccioni, he does not make it through. Didn't even make it as far, and I think he was ahead of Chowsey at one point. So crazy to me, some of the names that just didn't even get close. But hey, when you get a bad start in the LCQ, look at what it does. But man, absolute domination by White Drizzle and Tyler Show right there, and props for everyone who made it in. We got a couple heavy hitters here, more than a couple. Adam Holm, Tyler Lang, Weigman, Caleb Hall, Body Parker, Aaron Rockefeller, Heilman, Butigny, Kafa, Pardalo, Jackson, D. Davis, Sonny Spicer, Matt Cromie, Nerona, Cooper. Man, we got so many guys in this. I think this is going to be a barn burner. That 250 LCQ, a little bit of a snoozer. I think this one is going to get crazy. You're welcome, Racer D. Rat. Love you. Love all you guys in the chat. Love you, Chase B. Thanks for all the shout outs. We appreciate you guys and all your support. 16 rounds in.
Yeah, the support all the way through has been awesome. I mean, legitimately in the past when we have done these races, we see the numbers definitely fall off and we get to the end of the season. We're down to maybe 100 people and they're the loyal bunch, no question about it, but still have over 300 people watching basically across all of our platforms is really cool to see, and very much appreciate that you guys are hanging out with us and watching some MotoOption Supercross, which, by the way, shout out to MotoOption Clothing. I know we already saw that commercial earlier on, but head over to shopmotooption.com. Seriously, guys, they've been supporting this series for over 15 years, if you can believe it, and they are just in it for the love of the game. So if you guys head over, get some shirts from them, get some decals. I got a bunch of cool stuff from them many moons ago that I still use to this day. So they are an awesome company, and we appreciate their support. All right, 450 last chance qualifier coming up, and we have got a 5-minute plus at 1 lap barn burner ready to be fired into turn number 1 for you guys. As mentioned, whole bunch of guys I have not made it in yet that would love to be in the main event here tonight at Denver, and this is their last opportunity to do it. 30 card goes sideways. Revs are coming up. Let's go 450 LCQ racing here in Denver. Pretty good jump for Spencer Turley on the 125 Kawasaki. He's trying to get there first. He's going to get the door shut. As from the outside, it was a Yamaha. A lot of guys going down, but Turley does sneak through the inside and get the whole shot. Aaron Rockefeller on the number 800 trying to channel his inner Michael Alessi. He comes through in second. Big crash in third. That was Ben Kafa going up and over the berm. John Heilman, Jeff Cooper, Caleb Hall all made it through, and it's Turley leading on lap number 1.
Yeah, that number 800 machine with a great start, but Turley's been doing Mike Alessi impressions all year, having great starts in heat races and main events. It's just about if he can hold on to it for the duration of this race. He's kind of had some good starts, but maybe fell out. He's made his fair share of main events, but also fell out of a couple transfer spots as well. So Aaron Rockefeller, Heilman, and Caleb Hall all chasing with Body Parker. One back from there, Jeremy Siebel as well in 6th. Sonny Spicer, that's your running order through the top 7. Ooh, Devin Davis up into 7th now too. He said he had no chance here. Hopefully that doesn't bode poorly for him and he can keep working his way up. But Spencer Turley with a great first lap here, hitting that double quad double 2 off the start. If you can hit that with a first or second place start, you're pretty much guaranteeing yourself a 1 free lap of clean air.
I like my guy Chris Stewart in YouTube chat, by the way. Tim Thompson said, I'm a little late tonight. Who's won so far? And Chris Stewart said, the audience won this evening. That's deep. That is very profound.
Wow.
And we like it very much. So
I just got like
just butterflies.
Butterflies,
right
yeah.
to the
Like
chest.
my heart just. Ooh.
Aaron Rockefeller, a little case there on the triple mid rhythm. Going to blow the quad all to bits and allow the number 16 of John Heilman to go by. So Rockefeller back to 3rd. Meanwhile, Caleb Hall in the 45 still right there in 4th. Bodie Parker just behind that. And then our winner at Arlington earlier this year, Jeremy Siebel, the 2020 MotoOption champ, is in 6th. So he's trying to make it forward. A lot of big names still well down the order. I see Tyler Lang right now in 16th place on the number 5. Looks like his night will be done early. Devin Davis, who had made it in out of the heat race but then lost it on penalties, he's back in 7th. Caleb Hall's trying to get up there and make a pass on Bodie Parker. Parker made that pass, and now Hall's trying to get it back. You see Seabolt right there on the right side of your screen, also in the mix. Look at this fight right here. This is 3, 4, 5, and 6 on your screen all together. Actually, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, as there's 5 riders here having a go at it as Spencer Turley gets away out front. It's anybody's race inside of this position right now.
Yeah, Body Parker's got to be shaking in his boots as Caleb Hall quads up right behind him. Jeremy Siebel messes up that rhythm, so loses touch just a little bit. Caleb Hall up the inside. Nice, clean triple with a small mistake. Look at that, though. Cuts down, going side by side. Hall up the inside. They're touching tips through the corner. Side by side, drag racing. Triple double to the inside. Caleb Hall's going to have the preferred line. Wow, and that allows him they're kind of slowing down a little bit. So now it's a 3-man battle, but that was an insanely close corner. And I think back in the days of really bad front end lock, you would never have 2 guys getting that close in the corner. And we get some dualies over the finish line.
Oh my gosh, I don't think we've seen two guys that close together for that long as well in MX Sim. It's awesome when we get this type of action on the racetrack, and Caleb Hall on that Honda is in the bubble spot. But don't look now, Jeremy Seabold on that KTM in the background. He's trying to get up there and fight for this as well. Bodie Parker is still putting the heat on. Oh, Rockefeller lays it down, and it holds up Seabold. So that allows Parker to get by into fourth. Seabold now falls off the tail a little bit, and just like that, these guys have some breathing room. Turley, Heilman, Hall, and Parker, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then a bit of a gap back to the number 10 machine now.
You know what's crazy, Kellen, is every time that you say "don't look now," I feel like it's a death sentence. Like, that's the commentator's curse that you always get him with. So you said "don't look now" at Siebel, and I was like, dude, something's gonna happen. And then he goes ahead, gets stuck on that down rider. Man, but I mean, at least not completely off the bike, and has a chance to kind of keep working his way up here, though. Only one spot out, Bodie Parker 3 seconds ahead of him. So he is leading the charge from the rest of the guys and showed good speed. So he's the head of a 4-rider train right now. And I think these guys in third and fourth are going to be maybe getting a little bit close and letting these guys catch back up, Kellen.
Yeah, I mean, the battle up front really could dictate what happens in this last chance qualifier, as you mentioned. Turley's still 2.7 seconds up, but if Parker can get onto Caleb Hall again and they start duking it out, that only slows each of them down as Parker ends up going down himself in the whoops, and that allows Jeremy Seabold through. Boutigny goes by, Jackson, Maverick, Snyder, everybody going by, and that's going to obviously help Seabold, but it helps all these guys have another shot at it as well, because with a multi-time champion sitting in the bubble position in Jeremy Seabold, you think that he might be peerless in this and not have any faults to him, but Boutigny is going to put the heat on him and try to make something happen, hope he can get by, and at the very least, maybe get up there and start battling with guys like Caleb Hall and John Heilman just ahead of that as well.
Yeah, I mean, Boutigny has nothing to lose, and Siebel has everything to lose right now. So much pressure on the number 10 of Siebel. He has been around the block a couple times, though, so he's not going to let this kind of phase him as much as he can. Just keep trying to hit his marks. He's looked good, you know, kind of on and off this year, but looked good the last couple of weeks. So Siebel going to just try to keep hitting these whoops, absolutely crushing them as dead straight as you've seen anyone. And he's actually trying to gain, maybe get up into second or third and kind of give himself a little bit of a buffer here. But this, I'd like to see this race a little bit closer at the line. Let's tighten this up a little bit, guys.
Yeah, here we go. White flag in the air. Turley still leads by 2 seconds. Then it is Heilman, Hall, and Seabold pretty much nose to tail on your screen right there as you see them all go through. Then a little bit of a gap, 3 seconds back to Enzo Boutigny, who just kind of went over a berm in the background. That cost him quite a bit of time, but it's down to the nitty-gritty as long as none of these guys make a mistake. And Boutigny just went down in the background, so these four should be locked in. How about it? What's up, my dudes? All the Spencer Turley fans in chat rejoice. They're going to be praising the galaxy sky together as their man is on their way to an LCQ victory.
Yeah, I feel bad. I've never watched a Spencer Turley video, and I promised I never will in my life. But I've become the biggest Spencer Turley fan. He has absolutely been crushing it this year, this season, all year long. Props to him. He comes around one more turn, Kellen, he brings this thing home.
Here we go. Spencer Turley's going to take this thing all the way to the checkered flag. 450 LCQ. Goes to the Galaxy man. He's up on top in this one. Heilman second, Hall third, Seabold fourth. They're dialed in. Meanwhile, I think someone just got absolutely decked in the background. Someone went over the berm. I can't even tell who that was. But yeah, someone going over the berm after the finish line jump laid another guy out, and everyone else is just rage quitting at this point. And man, what a race that was. Very interesting to see. Bodie Parker doesn't make it through, but Seabold does. Hall, Heilman, and Turley.
What's up, my dudes? Spencer Turley brings home. You know what I love? Never change the gear. Probably only has one set.
Yeah.
One set of gear, one bike. He said, this is what I'm doing. He's not sending you fucking five packs a week. He's just out here to, you know, put that thing on the top step, make as many mains as possible, and try to play spoiler in the championship wherever he can. He disconnects, though. That is solidifies our top four right there. Turley, Heilman, Siebel, and Hall. And we move on to the 250 main event here in Denver.
Yeah, shout out iMoto in chat letting us know that was Turley's third last chance qualifier win of his career. Which
Legend. I feel like two of them, he's got to have one more this year. Maybe he's just making it straight through heats. He's been riding so great this year.
Has not been a short career, that's for sure. Turley's been around the block a few times. I mean,
do I have any LCQ wins?
We both raced Turley. I definitely have a 250 LCQ win. I do not know if I ever won a 450 LCQ or not. I'm sure.
I think
Lane
my best
Burke
finish
is about to just drop some knowledge on us.
I think my best finish is like a 7th, maybe a 5th in Supercross. I was never a Supercross guy, but after pretty sure one Coast of East, maybe a couple rounds dropping down. I don't think I really ever raced a 250 that much, but 450s. I was a big LCQ guy. I mean, I got the term coined A-Wood fade because of how good of a starter I was, whether it was Supercross or really outdoors for a while. And then I would just drop off the map. Not my proudest kind of thing, but I mean, the fact that it's still, mentioned every once in a while is pretty impressive when you're that bad.
Well, I mean, we had careers. They existed. A-Wood, you had a heat win in 2013 Las Vegas and a semi at 2014 Vegas. Apparently Vegas was your spot.
You know why?
No LCQ.
Because the field had half the riders because all the 250 guys had to race the shootout. And I hated the Vegas track, especially the long sweeper. But I love that there was so many less people. I was almost guaranteed to make it in the main. Fuck yeah, that's so sick.
I'm pretty sure I won a 250 LCQ. I'm trying to remember. I think it was...
I can't believe I never won the LCQ. That's horrible.
Minneapolis, maybe? Like 2013 Minneapolis seems right for some
250
reason.
East LCQ 2013 Toronto.
Toronto. It's close. 2013 Toronto.
I wonder how many... It would be crazy to see. Like, obviously, we don't have all those stats, but like how many LCQs, semis, and heats I had led... at like the first or second lap and then didn't qualify, because that would be an astronomically high number. Probably 80% of my races, honestly. But
honestly, it's such a Daytona disappointment. That's 12 years ago. Like Wyatt Grant was one, and I won an LCQ.
I mean, all I know is my 2013 outdoor season. Besides my win, I hole shot a lot, and that was my greatest achievement. That was my best year for sure in this game, and it fell off. I mean, I went from 18 to 30 to 44 to 85, I think, in national numbers. So it was a slow bleed, and then we haven't raced since.
All right, 250 main time here in Denver. Will we crown a champion tonight? It's P9 or better for Tharp, and he walks away with the crown. In 30 car to sideways, revs are up. 250 main in Denver, let's go! Pretty good start from one of the EVP Hondas. I think that's Evmoof up the inside trying to get there, but he bangs into everyone and a lot of guys go down. Jackson Lindsay from the last chance qualifier rips the RaceFactoryGaming.com hole shot, and it's Tharp is up in second place, so that's huge news for Braden Tharp. Where's Jake Spees? Looks like he's in about 8th. This is good news for Tharp as he's going to try to clinch the title here tonight.
Yeah, I think with him being so close to Kellen, he is just going to go for the win right here. I mean, Jackson Lindsay through the LCQ obviously had a great start and some great rides here tonight, but I don't think he has the speed to match what Braden Tharp has. We'll see, though, trying to hold him off as long as possible.
Oh.
Tharp was gaining so much, almost I thought he was jumping left of him. He now gets hit. So now he's down. He's in at least 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. There's a bunch of riders going by. Nicky T on the... Whoa, I thought it was all white gear, but it's all black on the back. I actually love that setup. He moves into the lead here in the 250 main event.
My man Yin and Yang out in front, man, just putting some peaceful vibes to the soul as Nick Thomas-Sunis leads the field around here in MotoOption Supercross. It's a glorious day as he leads us around. 500,000 IG followers as well, but he's almost through the front door. He's off the track in between rhythm lanes, jumping back on, taking people out. Jackson Lindsay hits the deck, and he's still leading here at the end of lap number 2. Caden Speck up into the second spot. Max Wilczek third. How long does Nick Thomas-Sunis got for the race lead?
I think he's got at least another lap. He's going to, oh my goodness, maybe not. The way that Caden Speck just scrubbed that Supercross triple, he looks like a man on a mission. Maybe showing a little bit more speed here. Might be a little too, as he cases that rhythm, gets into the rider in third. Nicky T will hold on probably for another lap. Just got to keep it clean, and man, Nicky T might be able to finish on a podium if he just can ride this thing out smooth. So many guys under pressure to get good finishes as he dies in the whoops, takes out Caden Speck, and that allows Wilczek to the lead.
Max Wilczek takes over the front as Jackson Lindsay moves into second. Johnsmeyer now third. Spees is fourth, and Tharp now rounds out our top 5. So this is a very wild race thus far. Now can Max Wilczek try to settle this thing down and get away with the race lead? Remember, he was second in the heat race trying to battle up front in that one, and now he's got the chance to lead this thing here tonight in Denver. I can't fathom that he's going to be another one that makes another mistake, as we've seen so many from our leaders thus far, but that's the point of this 250 class in MotoOption Supercross. It's still some of the younger bucks trying to get their feet underneath of them, and they're a little bit more wild, and oftentimes to see a little bit more of the chaos like we've seen thus far in this main event.
Yeah, I mean, chaos for sure, but Max Wilczek has had some really good qualifying, and I feel like he showed really, really good speed. I thought he was going to be a season-long title contender in this 250 West division, but just, a couple bad finishes. So I think this is a person that I think we might see pull away and try to take this win, but Braden Tharp in fourth, only 5 seconds back. Jake Spieth right behind him, doesn't want to let him get away, but I mean, doesn't really have anything to say about it. As long as he stays inside that top 9, Braden Tharp's going to take this thing home a round early. Wilczek looks absolutely great and pretty much a lit kit contender here too in that black and red gear, that black Triumph. He looks absolutely sexy tonight.
Oh, just absolutely looking like a vibe out front right
Subway
now.
Subway footlong up front.
Meanwhile, Tharp has moved up into a podium spot. He got around his teammate Spieth. He got around Travis Johnsmeyer. I think you're right, Andrew. I think that if you're Tharp in this situation, you kind of want to put a nice little bow tie on this championship even and go out and try to win this thing if you can. You've got the wiggle room at hand. You only need P9 tonight to clinch it. And on top of that, even if you didn't get P9 tonight and your teammate won, you're still in a pretty good spot to win it next week as well. So Jackson Lindsay goes down. That moves Tharp up into the 2 spot now. Wilczek's still leading, but it's only a 2-second gap. I think Tharp is trying to get up there and win this thing.
Yeah, I mean, from 5 to 2 seconds in just over a lap, I think, he's going out and, just like you said, put a bow tie on the championship, finish on top, and just kind of show everyone that the domination that you had all season, you can still do that all the way down to the last round. And Tharp's a great outdoor rider too, so going to be fun to see him kind of carry this momentum here. Spieth says, well, if he can carry this momentum too, I mean, having a great finish and saying, listen, dude, I did the best I could. I finished right behind him. This guy just got the better of me. But, we shredded all the way till the end. Oh, and look at that. Wilczek down as Tharp is to the lead. They split him. Tharp on the right, Spieth on the left. Those now 1 and 2 here through the whoops. And, yeah, these teammates just trying to pull away. And Braden Tharp trying to clinch this thing down with a dub.
Yeah, 5 minutes into this 15-minute plus 1 lap race. So we still got 10 minutes and a lap left to go. And now the teammates can kind of settle down and have their battle at the front. Of course, Tharp did pass Spieth and kind of got away from him a little bit in the middle stages of the beginning of this race, but so far Spieth has done a nice job sticking with him. 54.8 to a 55.0 last time by, 1.3 seconds the gap. So if you're Jake Spieth right here, one of the things you can do is just try to follow your teammate, learn from him, and maybe stick with him enough to force him into a mistake. But also if you're Spieth, you can maybe learn where he's gaining time on you and use that to your advantage, because then you could gain that time back and then also be a little bit better in other sections of the racetrack.
Yeah, I mean, he's just close enough to perfectly kind of watch his lines, see what he's doing, and you can kind of visually see that gap. When you're only a second apart, you can see that 1.2, that 1.1, as it tightens up. You got a good drive through the whoops. You can feel that you got a little bit closer. It was 1.5 now, good run, good corner. Now he's bringing it back down. You see, okay, here's where I'm better than him. Let me just fix the spots where he's pulling away, and then I can be the one that's faster all around the track. And these guys absolutely sending it. You can tell they're not the smoothest right now, but a 54.0 right there is the fastest lap of the race to a 54.2 by the leader. So he is gaining 0.2 a lap, and hopefully he can get that down even further and make this thing a battle to the finish line.
And hey, Wilczek picked it up from his crash. He is still in 3rd place in the background behind these guys. He just actually matched Tharp's lap time, so he's only 3.8 seconds back. And if these two start to battle each other, don't look now, but Max Wilczek could get up here and do some damage as well. So if you're Tharp in this situation, just trying to put some sprint laps down right now, maybe get a gap on your teammate, it's not working. So is there a different strategy you employ here? Maybe start getting into the fight a little bit as well, because then that causes some issues with your teammate trying to even set up a pass, and he could also make a mistake and go down too.
Yeah, I think Braden Tharp is just going to just keep doing what he's doing. I think they kind of know the lines, right? It's not like he might be losing a little bit of time, but I think it's just not hitting each section as cleanly. But I mean, dude, look how comfortable he is, just absolutely throwing down up front. If he throws a turn down like that over this triple right here, can't whip the triple as good as the finish line, I guess, because they're a little steeper. But Braden Tharp looks good out front. I think it's really just timing those rhythm sections. He knows he's clipping it and losing time right there. He knows what he has to do. He's just trying to bring this thing home and stay as smooth as possible. But man, Spieth is close.
Yeah, Spieth is ripping. 53.8 last time by. The gap's down to 3/10. Does he go for it in the whoops right here, or is he content to stick behind his teammate? He's going to try to quad over him as he quads to the outside. Not able to set up the pass just yet, but obviously still right there. Oh, and then he gets into the tough block, so he went for it and paid the price a little bit. Wilczek still hanging tough, 3.7 seconds down in the background. And another thing that comes into play here is we're halfway through this race. Lap traffic coming up for Braden Tharp. He's going to hit the back end of the lap traffic group here in just a minute. Looks like there's about 3 or 4 guys still pretty close together that he's going to come upon first. And if you're Tharp, that's really tough to navigate because with these guys still so close, you don't want to leave yourself vulnerable, but you're going to have to go offline in a few spots to try to get around these lappers, and it could set yourself in a bad position for these guys to maybe make a pass.
Yeah, Braden Tharp just needs to focus on, I was going to say being smart, picking his rhythms like that. He had to avoid a rider and still went for that triple right there on that 3.53. If you're leading a race and you're going through lappers, you need to know when to hit the brakes just like he did there. Double, triple to the inside as Spieth gets close to him, but you're avoiding lappers or making mistakes. You need to know when you can back out of a jump to kind of not hurt yourself going for something when you have a suboptimal line going into it. And I think Braden Tharp kind of rushed it a little bit and then kind of took that medicine after the whoops and kind of locked back in there. But Spieth is just sending it full bore right now. He's the second one, getting past the lappers a little bit smoother. But man, these guys are side by side. Dualies!
Look at this, inside for Spieth on his teammate, and he makes the pass. They're going to double in together, and Spieth gets the 3 following it, but then Tharp fights back. He goes on off to double into the corner, so now it's time for Braden Tharp to do the chasing a little bit. 6 minutes and a lap to go. We're basically down to a heat race distance between these two. What can Tharp do as he settles in behind him and tries to learn the lines here?
Yeah, bummer to see Nicky T getting lapped after being up front so early. They both go for the quad. They both had great drives. I think maybe he saw Spieth pulling away in the whoops ahead of him. Tharp goes ahead and pulls the trigger. Spieth comes up just short as there's Wilczek jumping off the track right in the behind of that camera shot. Jake Spieth though, so holding on to second here, not all the way back to third, but down hard. For me, it's, do you really need to hit that section? I don't think you can get past by that quad if it's not up the inside. I think that triple double is safe. And those guys just, maybe they both were like, hey dude, maybe they're talking to each other. Hey man, let's try to send it and see if we can both hit the quad right here since we're next to each other. If it didn't go down that way, I don't know why they both went for that line, but man, bummer for Spieth as he loses touch by a long shot to the leader here.
Jake Spieth ran a 1:01 with a fall-off crash. And again, that's like usually 8 to 10 seconds for a fall-off crash. And of course, the fast lap of the race is a 53.8. So about a 7-second fall-off crash, or maybe he was en route to a 52-second lap time. Who knows? Either way, Tharp now has 6 seconds in hand to try to manage this lead, try to bring this thing home and clinch this championship, which looks like a foregone conclusion at this point. I mean, they've already lapped up to just about 16th place on the racetrack, so he only needs to lap about 7 more guys and he can clinch this title a lap early even on top of that. So Tharp, 7.5 second lead, good for him. Spieth second. Jackson Lindsay now moves to third after a mistake out of Max Wilczek. He's going to drop back to fourth. He's still right there though, so that could be a good fight for the podium down the stretch. And Holtzy, Evan Holt, holding on to the 5th and final position inside of the top 5 right now, just ahead of White Drizzle, Jet Holyhead behind him. So Holyhead going to try to get up there and maybe get his name into the top 5 before this thing is all done and dusted. But good rides all throughout the field. A lot of these guys having some good ones. Oh, Holtzy going for a quad, coming up a little bit short right there. Holyhead might be able to take advantage right now, actually.
Yeah, Holyhead kind of sees a crack in the armor, and he's going to try to make it. Good for Nicky T going off track there. He's been an amazing lapper every time we've seen him on the screen, slowly working through the field. Holtzy with a good drive through the whoops. Holyhead behind him gets a cleaner exit, though. Triple double to the inside. Can he swoop this rut a little bit better? Poke his head up the inside on the step-off. He does. Makes the pass cleanly. Holtzy goes high, lets him have it, cuts down. Isn't able to get as close.
Whoa.
Ooh, splitting down. Is that Max Wilczek into third? Yep. So Holtzy goes all the way into third, as Holyhead had it for a split second, and he's going to be in fourth. Wilczek drops all the way down to fifth.
Yeah, Wilczek.
Sixth, actually.
Yeah, slides back to 6th place, actually. And, man, these guys are still going for it in these positions. Tharp, actually, though, the lead has been cut down. We are down to 1.8 seconds, 59.6 last time by for Tharp. So must have had a little bit of a mistake somewhere. We didn't see where it was or what happened, but definitely lost about 3 or 4 seconds off of his usual lap time, so Jake Spieth is suddenly back in the frame a little bit. Not close enough, of course, to make a pass, but 2 seconds back here in the closing stages of this. You just never know, and of course lap traffic will come into play, and also just little mistakes as well. Like if Tharp has another moment in the whoops, if Spieth is this close, he could fully take advantage and jump into the lead. That's not no longer a comfortable situation for Tharp if you're leading this thing.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, he wants to win it, right, to kind of put that stamp on it, but he's almost 13 minutes into the race, so he has just over 2 minutes plus a lap as he got clear right there as the lapper tried to jump up next to him. He has to get 9th place or better. He has right now 30 seconds back to 10th place, so 32 seconds back to Evmove. He hasn't lapped him, but he has pretty much 3 fall-off crashes that he has to kind of play with for 2 minutes plus a lap. I think Braden Tharp is pretty comfortably going to wrap up this title, but obviously he wants to go out on a win. He's had such a great ride so far. He's looking good. You know, every small mistake he's had, he's been able to kind of come back from very quickly. And Braden Tharp, man, leading us around 13 and a half minutes in, and he's still looking great up front with a 9-second lead over Spieth.
Yep, Spieth definitely did make a mistake, as you mentioned, and it is not close anymore. Jackson Lindsay 3rd, Holyhead 4th. Wilczek 5th right there. Quinault having a good ride, hanging on a 6th, and then he goes for the 3 onto the table and insta legs off. Tough break for him, allows Evan Holtze to slot back through. Here comes Caden Speck. Let's see if he'll make a pass. Not quite. Going to be right there, though, with Quinault. They'll have a good battle right there. Evmove actually having a fight with Wyatt Grant. These two battling for 9th. Wyatt Grant is 10th. Aiden Stevenson just behind that in 11th on that Kawasaki. So all these guys, for them, it's really their last opportunity maybe to get a good top 10 finish with the showdown coming up next week in Salt Lake City. So obviously getting into the top 10 here today is critical, and Wyatt Grant holds that position. We'll see if he gets it all the way to the checkered flag. Battle for the podium, still about a 4-second gap. Holyhead up to Jax Lindsay, who has had a quietly good night despite going to the last chance qualifier, but as I say that, he just laid it down. He's going to lose a lot of time, and Wilczek is trying to fight through this lap traffic. He's going to triple in behind them. I don't know how he hasn't hit one of them yet. He's still in between both of them, and just trying to get around them there on that Triumph with the red gear. Finally does, and now we got a battle for the podium on our hands.
Yeah, it's hard when you're sandwiched between riders because you can't really ride as fast as you want to get on the guy ahead of you, your pace when you're getting lapped, but you can't slow down too much, maybe get in there, and you're also in your own points battle. It's really tricky. You just got to kind of try to stay to one side of the track and keep it clean. Wilczek, though, showing some great speed here right on the rear wheel of Jackson Lindsay. This is pretty much the only battle we have going on the track. Let's see what happens through the whoops. Jackson Lindsay gets an amazing drive. Some lappers down. They're tripling over them. Triple-double to the inside. Gap stays pretty much the same as they're going to kind of just keep training. Jackson Lindsay a little bit more breathing room. That's where he made the mistake last lap, though. Not the best rhythm into it. Wilczek up the inside, but made a small mistake over jumping there, then cased the triple out. Not going to be able to make a charge yet. White flag for the leader. White flag for the rest of these guys as Lindsay still giving chase.
Yeah, and Jackson Lindsay is all over Jake Spieth for second. You may have noticed him just at the front of your screen there on the 54 District Designs KTM. So this battle for second is heating up. The battle for third, of course, is still good.
Oh!
Jackson Lindsay tries a quad onto the table. Doesn't work. Maybe cost him a podium. Down the inside, Wilczek tries to get there. Shows him a nose. Backs out of the challenge. It's not over yet. Meanwhile, up front, it is going to be a championship clinching moment. It's going to be, I believe, his 5th win of the season. But Braden Tharp is your 2025 250 West champ as he wins the main event in Denver. Let's go back to the podium spot. Lindsay versus Wilczek, going to bring this thing all the way down to the checkered flag. It all comes down to this rhythm section. Doubling in. It's close. Wilczek getting a little nose high.
He's got
trying to send it in. Who's going to get the run? Look at Jax Lindsay. Block passes him and cuts him down on the ground. Jackson Lindsay on the box here tonight in Denver. What a move.
I feel like if Wilczek saw him braking that much, he should have just got back on the gas, railed around the outside. It's kind of hard to get turned on the brakes and then back up to accelerate to block that. Probably could have had a pass around the outside. Jackson Lindsay comes out on top of that little battle there. What a great battle. 17 seconds Braden Tharp had to take home this win, take home the championship, the 250 East title. Absolutely unbelievable ride, but man, a fun little battle till the end for second, third, and fourth there from the rest of the class. And just an absolutely great 250 West title. Even clinched early. Braden Tharp didn't completely dominate with wins. He had his own kind of small mistakes, but he was the most consistent racer throughout this championship series. And proud of him, and a great result by him on that District Designs KTM.
Yeah, our first of 3 champions to be crowned this year. Many congratulations to Braden Tharp, the number 23 District Designs KTM, getting the job done and wrapping this thing up around early. Now he can roll into the showdown next week with little to no pressure. I mean, of course, he would probably still like to win the showdown next week or at least do some serious damage. But hey, pressure's off the back. The number 1 plate is heading back to his mantle.
Yeah, just a crazy ride. So much pressure off his back too. We said he didn't need to win. There was pressure to make it through to the main event, but really not. I mean, he was outside of a transfer spot, so I guess there was a little bit, but I think he knew to trust himself, trust his speed. Didn't get the best start in the heat, was able to put it on through. Got a pretty decent start in the main event, and boom, was able to run away with it. And he had a little bit of pressure from his teammate, Jake Spiess, who gave us a hell of a fight right there. But, he knew from the get-go, I think from the start, he was going to go out there and win this thing no matter what happened. Took home a commanding race win and clinches around early. We actually probably see that too often. So I guess that brings what we're about to see in the 450 class. It makes that a little bit more special, Kellen, is being able to see a title that is going to come down. Both of these riders are in the main event. It will come down to next week. 2-point lead Colby Eaglin has over Braden Carter here coming into the second to last round of the 450 Supercross Series 2025 Race Factory Gaming Championship. Braden Carter, though, looked dominant in their heat race. They shared a race together, but with a small mistake after the whoops, Colby Eaglin was able to make a pass on the last lap, bring home that heat win, maybe gain a little bit of confidence for his consistent riding style. And we're going to see this as we try to load into the server here. We're going to hop out, hop back in, let these guys get their siding lap, and move forward for the 450 main event here in Denver.
Question simple, Mr. Andrew Wood sitting next to me. Who wins between Mr. Colby Eaglin and Braden Carter tonight?
I don't want to pick favorites. I did talk to Braden Carter a little bit before, asked him if he was going to lock in. He said, I'm going to try. I said different words than that, but those were his exact words. I think Braden Carter is going to nail the start, and we're going to have a great race with both of these two up front. I do not think I'm going to pick a winner tonight. I think I'm going to predict that Braden Carter gets a great start, runs up front. Colby Eaglin, they battle most of the main event. I just don't know if Braden Carter is going to keep it on 2 wheels or if he's going to do what we did in the heat race and keep it on 2 wheels. So I'm not picking a winner. I do just predict that Braden Carter gets a good start and we see a battle to the death, because this round matters almost more than the finale for me.
All right, that is...
Sorry.
No, that's good.
Waffle.
For sure. Waffle. I don't want to pick anyone either, because I am so excited to see how this thing goes, man. It is going to be an intense 20-minute plus 1 lap showdown here for the 450 main event in Denver. The penultimate round of the championship. We are down to the nitty-gritty. It doesn't get better than this. 2 points in it between our championship rivals, and they are set to do battle here tonight in Denver. Who's going to come out on top? Who gets the advantage going into Salt Lake City? Here we go! Huge start for Hubbard, and Leclerc's alongside of him. They're going to control it into turn 1 together. I think it's going to be Hubbard by a nose. Look, Leclerc down the inside gets the RaceFactorGaming.com hole shot. Hubbard in second. Looks like Eaglin and Carter are mid-ish packed together. Actually, looks like Eaglin may have gone down, and Carter has the advantage. He's in 4th as Leclerc leads on lap number 1.
Yeah, Carter was able to come through after so much carnage after the finish line, Kellen. Maybe go with so many riders piled up. I don't know who that is. Eaglin looks like he stayed cleanly in that. So Carter's in 4th, trying to ride smooth, and Eaglin dropped back to 10th. Maybe not a complete fall off, but a mistake or got together with someone. But Leclerc with another patented great start. He hasn't lost those since 2013. He just continues to be insane off the gate. He's going to lead us around, but we will be doing some scoreboard checking throughout the race tonight, as Eaglin has worked his way back all the way up to 6th. Braden Carter still in 4th. So 6th is far behind, though. There is a big gap behind 5th. We are going to have to keep an eye on that. Eagland a little bit out of touch, but man, this is going to be a crazy race, and we're going to see what happens. Eagland needs to get the burners on and hit him now.
Yeah, just as you said that, I think he may have gone down. He's all the way back to 14th place, so that is detrimental for sure as Carter is working on Pablo Vial. He is in 4th place. This is a complete flip of the script of what we've seen the last 3 or 4 weeks in MotoOption Supercross, where normally Eagland's the one who gets to kind of have a good start to his night, get a good start in the main event and run up front a little bit with these guys and try to settle into a pace. It's Carter who's had to do the Hail Mary runs through the field. It did not work out at East Rutherford. That was his biggest loss of the season. A 12th place there really did some damage to him. But a 4th place start in this one, he gets a little bit of the leisure, if you will, of running up with the leaders and trying to get away while Eagland instead has to do the chasing, and that's exactly what Carter needed tonight.
You know, I'm going to compare Braden Carter to Payson Johnson a little bit right here, whereas I feel like Braden has been doing a Payson Johnson ride where you go try to set a qualifying lap, push your hardest every single time you hit the track. And I feel like Braden Carter's been doing that, but from 18th, 19th place sometimes, where now he's in 4th. He can see the leader within, a second, 2 seconds in front of him, and he can really take a deep breath. He knows he's in control. He has someone telling him that Eagland is back in 13th. Hit your marks, hit this quad. Missed that rider who missed the rhythm right there. Definitely scary for him, but look at that. Triples over, triples pass, gets a twofer right there. He's now into 2nd, can take another deep breath. Doesn't need to go Mach 10 in the whoops. Just hit your marks, chase down Leclerc, and you might have the championship on lock if you can just ride smoothly. And I think this is the best start we've seen him have in maybe 6-7 rounds.
I think the noise you just heard was his heart hitting his toes, because it just absolutely dropped right there while he was trying to navigate that. That was absolutely insane. It was Hubbard who was going down. He got into the side of Pablo Vial, and he has gone back down the order. He's in 11th now, actually just in front of Colby Eagland there in the background. So Carter moves up to 2nd. Leclerc still leads the race. Let's go back and find where Colby Eagland is and how he is navigating through the field right now. So he's about 2 corners behind Carter, basically 2 whole straightaways back of him, and got some work to do. Hubbard right in front of him, Padani, Whelan, Hall, all these guys kind of linked together early stages of this race, which again is kind of good news for Eagland because no one's really gotten super far away just yet. In fact, he's only 14 seconds off of the lead. But if you're in his situation, you got to start making some quick moves because you can't let Carter get too far away in this situation.
Yeah, I was going to mention that 14 seconds up to the leader, but there's only about 10 seconds up to 3rd place right behind Braden Carter. So if Colby Eagland can get up to 3rd and Braden Carter stays in 2nd where he is, the points will be tied going into the final round. Then it will be a heads-up, winner-take-all. Obviously, we can look at the math right now. It's pretty early and see how that works, but Colby Eagland I expect to work his way up. Maybe not that far, but who knows? Time will tell, as we have a special guest coming in the studio here as Colby Eagland just trying to work his way up.
Yeah, what does my daughter Holly have to say about this championship? Oh, very sweet. She says goodnight to everyone, and hopefully they are having a good night on the racetrack right now. That is obviously what they're hoping to get accomplished as they battle for supremacy out here. So actually in that exchange, Eagland did move up into 11th, and even bigger news up the track a little bit. Braden Carter has had a mistake and he went down. He's at the front of this group right now. He is now in 7th position. Yes, sorry, 6th. It's kind of moving all over the place, but he's 6th place now. Eagland is 9th. So if you can believe it, as they run right now, Braden Carter is literally up by a single point in the championship. But interesting that he had that free reign and free space up there a little bit with that 2nd position. He was trying to run down Leclerc, and really it's all on him. He made the mistake this time.
Yeah, I mean, he was 1 second off the lead. Perfect 10-second crash. He's 11 back now with Colby Eagland still between that 13 and 14 second spot. 2 riders go down, land on each other. Braden Carter going to get 2 more spots, but Colby Eagland going to get 2 more spots as well as he's working his way up behind them. These are single points paying positions right here, so we can do the math pretty easily. I'm just very curious, Kellen, I'm wondering, where did Braden Carter go down? Because if it was something like the quad single after the whoops, or doing something that's unnecessary like that, I am going to slap Braden Carter in the face the next time I see him. Colby Eaglin, small mistake here, though. Almost gets into it with Alec Horn, but he's going to triple up the inside and hold on to that position still.
Goodness gracious. I mean, the front end was definitely twitching through that situation, and a little dualies over the finish line jump. Eaglin's got to get away from this little group right here. He does not need to let one of these guys go by, because then they start really messing with him, trying to pass him if he falls into the clutches of it. Looks like he's doing a good job of that so far. Back up to Braden Carter and his situation. He's now in 4th place. He's 3 seconds behind Emmanuel Cepeda, who's doing a great job. He's on the podium right now. Jeremy Seabolt in 2nd. Leclerc's got a 5-second lead on the 7. And again, if you're just joining us, 2 points in it in this championship fight. Braden Carter sits 2 points back of his teammate, Colby Eaglin, with these 2 rounds still remaining. And we are 6 minutes and a half into this race. It goes 20 minutes plus a lap. So if you're Carter, still plenty of time to get back up there and do some damage, maybe even try to win this thing. And Eaglin, he is just trying his best to not get hung up in all the chaos back here. But now Alec Horn has made a pass on Eaglin, and Eaglin's got to go back to the drawing board here. This is not what he needs.
Yeah, Alec Horn is showing really good, blazing fast speed here. Eaglin, he obviously has the speed to run up front, but known more as that consistency guy. Trying to win the championship that way is a lot less flashy than what maybe Braden Carter does. And Alec Horn, though, I feel like that's his kind of style on the racetrack, though. Flashy with a lot of speed, but maybe a little bit less consistent, more crashy. So I think Eaglin just needs to kind of settle in, and maybe if riders go down just like that, Braden Carter down.
Whoa.
He was down with that KTM. I'm not sure exactly who that was on the yellow gear right before the whoops. I'm not sure if he got cleaned out, if he got overly aggressive. So Cepeda and him went down. Yeah, I'm not sure who made the move, but Braden Carter has now lost a spot, and this is extending the points lead for Colby Eaglin with that smooth and steady racecraft.
Yeah, so you can see our 2 championship guys basically on screen together right now. Carter on the right side, Eaglin in the red gear going off screen to the left right there. 3 riders between them. Eaglin now 6th, Carter now 10th. We've got Seth Shirley, Johnny Padani, and Emmanuel Cepeda between them right now, the 44, the 35, and the 33 machines on your screen as they are battling it out. And man, oh man, this is a interesting situation if you're in Braden Carter's shoes, because you were in the catbird seat, if you will. You had the positioning on the racetrack, and Eaglin had to do the work. Now Carter's had 2 crashes. Again, we don't know what happened with Emmanuel Cepeda right there that time by. But very interesting that Carter has not been able to kind of ice the veins a little bit and get this situation locked down like we thought, especially because the heat race was so well until that crash. Maybe that's just it. The crashes are really what's been the detriment for the number 1 machine this year, too.
Yeah, bummer also as well that we missed that. I wonder if we're going to get a demo or a replay. I'm sure we'll have something somewhere. I don't know if he's streaming, but just really surprised to see what happened there, especially if that was induced by Braden Carter. I'm going to be very surprised. But, man, he had the perfect start. He was alone in 2nd. Alexis Leclerc having another amazing ride, but man, this is crazy. Eaglin in 6th, Carter in 8th, and Carter, mistakes of his own or mistakes, that first one for sure was his own, and then the rest of them just come by putting yourself back in the field. You had the start and you lost it, and man, it's crazy. Look at this whoop speed. Almost getting pulled is not something we see Braden Carter have happen a lot in the whoops, but working his way forward slowly are these 2 trying to get closer to Eaglin, and they're right on each other's wheels now. No positions between them.
Yeah, that rider they just jumped over, by the way, in case you're looking at the red gear, that was actually Jacob Hubbard who was down. So now these 2 are 6th and 7th respectively. Of course, Eaglin the advantage, but they're basically battling for a podium because Bryce Whelan, going off the Supercross triple in front of them, is in 3rd place right now. So that's how tight it still is, with Leclerc 5 seconds up on Seabolt, then a 10-second gap to this insane battle that's still going on. Mistake for Eaglin. Let's see if Carter takes advantage of it. He's going to jump to the inside, but very respectful. I know these 2 are very friendly with each other. Curious to see if it comes to blows any more than this, because over the years they've raced each other so well, so clean, and been very respectful with each other. It seems like they want this title fight to kind of have that dynamic continue on here.
Yeah, we've seen that. I mean, small mistake stepping on right there. Braden Carter doesn't even have to think about it. Colby Eaglin gifts it to him as Colby almost gets ran into the back by Johnny Padani there. Padani pulls up. I think he is respecting this championship battle just a little bit. Wasn't trying to get too aggressive. Eaglin, just a small mistake, spins out of the corner, can't get on to the tabletop, and that's going to allow Braden Carter to go and try to flip this the other way. Still only a 1 point gap there, so Braden Carter is still losing the championship by 1 point, but would pretty much be a winner-take-all with wins going into the last round. But man, Braden Carter kind of getting so close to these lappers and other riders here. That's what scares me so much when he tries to pick his way through the field. He gets way too close to other people, I feel like, and doesn't give them enough real estate on the racetrack.
Yeah, and obviously now he's catching more guys for position. That's Bryce Whelan in front of him, 5th place. Alec Horn in 4th, just ahead of that. Had a big mistake, and Carter gets into them, and that's going to allow Eaglin right back into the picture. Again, they both are able to sneak by, so now they are 5th and 6th. Meanwhile, Seth Shirley just moved into a podium spot, by the way, on the 44 Yamaha up there. He just ran the fastest lap of the race at a 52.906, so he's cooking. He's trying to close that gap down to the leaders up there, but still long ways to go. Leclerc going the other way on the start straight right now, out front on the 7. Suddenly, it kind of looks like Colby Eaglin's got a little bit of the fire lit underneath of him right now. He seems to be the aggressor in this fight again. Not sure if he just found the flow, found some lines, or what it is, but he's certainly putting the heat here on Braden Carter again, trying to make a pass and get into a top 5 position. And now Carter's going to work on Alec Horn, so he's in a bit of a sandwich as well, trying to make a pass on the 37.
Yeah, Carter's got to be so stressed out in the position he's in. He's riding up close to Alec Horn. Alec Horn can make a mistake. The closer he gets, he could end up running into the back of someone, getting collected in the crash. Any of those things, he's going to get a free pass right there, but so does Eaglin. His horn goes off the track. I think Eaglin, though, being so close is just applying that small amount of pressure that could get inside Braden Carter's head. Braden Carter has to think about him. Now at least he doesn't have to think about who's in front and kind of running into them until they get into more lappers. But as long as Eaglin stays on that rear wheel, I think that is his specialty, what he can do to put continuous pressure on Braden, as there's a small case there, going to gain maybe a 10th or 2. Eaglin, though, off the track. Man, he's in his head, I think, for sure. Eaglin being that close and just hearing that bike.
Yeah, 7 minutes plus a lap now left to go in this race, and it is going to get so good. I can't believe it's worked out this way, that they're basically battling each other for essentially the championship lead almost at this point, because now we're getting into the position on the racetrack where they're going to gain 2 points apiece by positions gained. And Alec Horn on the 37 doesn't give a crap about your championship. He's up here really trying to fight with these guys. Little mistake right there, going to case that triple. But yeah, Eaglin not out of the water with dealing with Alec Horn yet. And they're not able to really run down Seth Shirley up ahead either, because Shirley's running some terrific laps. 53.2 last time by, still fastest rider on the track. I mean, he's trying to close down onto Jeremy Seabold up the road, but long road ahead for that as well. Seabold's still 9 seconds up the track. It's really just this championship dynamic, and obviously lap traffic will come into play here soon as well, that is kind of keeping everyone's attention, man. This is insane between these two, that it's played out this way, that we find them battling it out on the racetrack in this situation.
Yeah, I do want to shout out Seth Shirley up there in 3rd, 3 seconds faster than Leclerc and Seabold in 1st and 2nd, by the way. Just absolutely insane. I think he's just trying to hot lap as much as possible. We are getting into more lap traffic now, though. Riders are down, so there's a free pass by Braden Carter, but one of them gets up right in front of Colby Eaglin. So hopefully everybody's respecting the blue flag. That is Jeremy Smith, who I think is going to be hopefully one of the best blue flag lappers here once Colby Eaglin kind of closes it down just a little bit. And there we see him hugging to the inside, giving free rein to these leaders to keep chasing right now, trying to cause as little problems as possible.
He took Alec Horn out by mistake, so he was being good to the championship guys and then causes some chaos behind that. Bryce Whelan almost just went through the front door, going to maybe lose the spot back to Alec Horn. No, he's good right there, and they're just going through the lap traffic. Okay, so this is settling down a little bit now. There's some time between these two. Obviously, lap traffic, these guys are still navigating them. It's still a bit finicky. Ooh, little guy going sideways right there in front of Eaglin. That could have been a bit problematic, but for now, Seth Shirley just had a mistake, and there is a pass by Braden Carter into 3rd. Now, I need to remember my math situation here, right? I believe it is still 25, 22, 20 up in the top 3, then 18, 17 for 4th and 5th. So with them 4th and 5th, he was only gaining 1 point, but now this jump up into the 3rd position, he's gaining 3 points, which would be a 1 point championship lead going into the finale. if it stays this way. Of course, Seth Shirley is still right there. I mean, can't forget Eaglin's still hanging out in the background as well. So Carter's got to stay on his toes right now. But at least right now, red plate back in his hand.
Yeah, Seth Shirley's been riding great, but had that like kind of hot lap strategy there. So maybe not going to be the most consistent here when Eaglin has been pretty good. Oh, look at that mistake by who got into. So Seth Shirley just got into Seth Carr. The Seths are doing some weird stuff to each other, taking each other down. But so bummer for Shirley, but that's going to completely eliminate that gap. So now it's a 2-point gap, and these guys are tied if it stays the same. Eaglin got a free pass right there, just narrowly avoided that. Is going to have pressure from Shirley. He has that insane speed to him, but kind of has some clear air to try to kind of catch back up. 3 seconds between Eaglin and Carter right now. So really just has to keep focusing on that as long as Shirley can't try to make a pass back here. Shirley's going to try to go for it.
Obviously selfish of me, but if they ended up tied going to the finale, that would be absolutely insane. You're right, though. Seth Shirley is going for it, and the lappers behind Seth Carr, I think that's Caden Speck, are absolutely duking it out with each other. But Seth's really not going to lay up whatsoever. He would like to get around Colby Eaglin. A 4th place is as good as it gets for him, too, especially with the 2 leaders so far gone. And we haven't even talked about Leclerc and Seabolt and how good they've been riding.
Oh, my God,
but
look how close.
Carter made a mistake, and now Eaglin is right there. Does Eaglin maybe even take a shot at the pass right here? Because you don't want to have to lose a position to Seth Shirley while you're sitting here behind Braden Carter, but you're also maybe not wanting to force the issue with him because now's not the time to do it just yet, yeah?
Yeah, you're only going to take it if he leaves a huge gap open, goes way outside, and you can meet him, I would say, by the halfway point in the corner. Unless it's last lap and it's a dire situation, I think you want to make the pass clean because look at the guys right behind you. The guys that can take those positions away and kind of separate those points. If you go down and he doesn't, you just killed your chances maybe at a championship fight, and you're going to have to get first while the other rider gets 5th. So I think staying tied is going to be the best. Shirley, though, great drive through the whoops right there. And, man, this is absolutely insane, Kellen. We are blessed with the way that this championship has broken down.
I like Shirley's line right there, going outside and quadding all the way over that. It's risky as he's going to go down on a lapped rider, and a mistake there for Braden Carter. But yeah, I like that line just because you stay out of the deep ruts. So now we are pretty squared away with these 2 battling it out for 3rd place. Pretty big gap up to the 2 leaders. And basically this comes down to whether or not they go into the finale tied or Eaglin goes up 4 points to the good if he can get around Braden Carter. Which, to be honest, that could be huge if Eaglin gets the job done. I know Carter has been riding pretty well in this main event, but if Eaglin can make a pass, you just never know where the opportunity might come with 1.5 minutes to go.
Yeah, this is, it almost feels boring right now, but this is so good. It reminds me exactly of what we saw with Webb and Sexton last week in Pittsburgh last weekend. This is just such an awesome battle. Alligator in chat said, besides Leclerc, nobody has been this close in the title fight with Braden Carter, so it's a new dynamic with Eaglin. I think, his lappers get here. Braden Carter has to check up on the tabletop. Eaglin goes around the outside just like that. It's a 4-point swing. Braden Carter is now 4 points or 6 points back in the championship. 4 points back in the championship. It would have to be a 1st and a 3rd for him to win. If Shirley gets 3rd and Braden Carter wins next week, Braden needs to fight back only 1 minute plus a lap.
And you can see the urgency in the 1 as well. As soon as that pass happened, Chase Blakely was the culprit there, but I don't think that was his fault. I think they just kind of got hung up on the tabletop together, and Blakely was trying to get out of the way. You see him just moved out of the way as fast as he could after that. But the intensity is up for Carter. He is blitzing through the whoops like mad as he quads after, comes up a little bit short, jumps to the outside. Does he quad here? He does, and he gets it. Oh my gosh, Eaglin is fighting for everything it's worth to try to hang on to this 3rd position, but Carter's going to give it his all to get this thing back. It is still Leclerc and Seabolt 1-2, but this championship fight is insane between these 2. 4 points the gap right now as it stands. And still 1 round to go in Salt Lake City next week, but Carter has to get these points back on Colby Eaglin. Where does he even try to get a pass done, you think?
I don't know, Kellen. Maybe in that quad single and then quad around the corner. But, man, he just missed that rhythm section. No, he still gets it. He's down off the bike. He OJ'd into it. Case is going over, trying to get a big seat bounce, and he's down off the bike, loses a position. Or no, he does not. So he still has that position in front. So the points have not changed. thankfully for him, but this is huge. If they're 4 points ahead, like I said, Braden Carter would need to win the finale, and Eaglin would need someone, or he would need someone to get in between him and Eaglin, maybe Leclerc, maybe Shirley, but you can't. You wanted to have this thing in your own hands, and now it's not up to you. He needs to pray for a mistake from Shirley.
Yeah, this is
from
insane.
Eaglin.
As these two battle it out, we'll come back to this one in just a minute. Give credit where credit is due. I know we have not talked about neither of these guys as much as we should in this race, but Leclerc and Seabolt have been pretty much flawless out front. Just 24 perfect laps is what they're putting down at the front of the field. And Alexis Leclerc, the start really was it, man. He got out front. He let some of the chaos unfold behind. Seabolt was able to get in a second relatively quickly, and they took off from the field. But Leclerc is en route to his second win of the season, and what a dominating way to do it. How about this? Denver goes to the 7. Alexis Leclerc is back up on top in Colorado. Jeremy Seabolt ends up second. Eaglin trying to hold on for third. Look at this fight, though. Carter and Shirley still going at it. Carter inside. Going to get the on-off, but look at Shirley quadding up. Does he go for the inside right here? No. Carter's got to hold on for 2 more corners to salvage at least a 4-point swing in this thing. Triples to the corner, and Shirley's not going to be close enough. Carter should hold on and will get 4th place right here, but Colby Eaglin gets on the podium when he needed to the most. It's a 4-point gap going into the finale.
Holy cow, Kellen. What an absolute barn burner down to the end. Just big mistake right at the end there. You can give up that position, but you have to stay close. You were kind of asking me, where is he going to do it? And I was thinking you need to wait for a certain part of the track. Just got a little bit overzealous, missed his timing on the triple into the rhythm section, and that messed up his next triple and killed all of his momentum going down off the bike. Had no way to salvage it. Only 0.25 seconds back to Seth Shirley in 5th place. He had to hold on to that 4th place there, Kellen. If he would have lost that, I would have said the championship is Eaglin. You cannot... Praying for a 1st and 3rd is already so much for Carter's case to win, but praying for a 1st and worse than that seems almost impossible right there. So, man, Braden Carter has been in control of this championship for so long and slowly falling apart of crashes of his own. And Eaglin comes out on top, man, and extends that points lead going into the final round.
Yeah, it's insane what that worked out to in the end. And as mentioned, 4-point gap, 4 points in it going into the finale. Everybody else has now mathematically been eliminated from the championship. So Colby Eaglin walks into Salt Lake City with a chance at winning his first ever MotoOption Supercross championship, and Braden Carter will look to somehow, some way, pull 4 points back on him next week in Salt Lake City and win his 5th consecutive MotoOption Supercross championship. Gonna go ahead and say goodbye to the folks over on TikTok. Thanks everybody over there for tuning in tonight. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the show and will join us next week at Salt Lake City for the finale. Been one heck of a night of racing, and we'll see you guys very soon. And then back in studio with you guys now here on the YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch side. Kellen Brower, Andrew Wood in the booth calling the action all night long. Man, 4 points. It comes down to Salt Lake City in the end, and Braden Carter, for the first time since 2020, is not leading the championship at the finale.
Don't even know what to say. I'm speechless, man. He has been trying to control his own destiny, hadn't been getting the starts, been getting cleaned out, been getting in battles with lappers. And here we see it. 4 points. And this is the thing is, it was winner take all kind of, or if you win, you can match, you can maybe pull ahead. He was at a point for so long in that main event where they could have just been tied. And then it really was whoever wins having that getting past late. And then really that wouldn't have been that bad because you at least had a shot. Could have waited. You had 2, maybe 3 more laps after that happened. He could have fought back, found somewhere to make a block pass. As long as you're not T-bone punting, anything goes for the championship. It's almost like it's even, more than LCQ. He has to pray he wins and Leclerc or Shirley get in between. Maybe Seabolt, he's been hot, but dude, it's not under Carter's control. He cannot win now and do it. And dude, I like I like Eaglin, man. The momentum, the win probability charts have just fallen off a cliff for Carter these last couple weeks.
But what's crazy is that, as you said, that win probability chart is going down for Carter, and it very quickly could spike at the end. It just takes a good start for him next week. Maybe get out front, get some clean air, and Eaglin has to come through the field. I mean, look, Eaglin now has some wiggle room, which is nice. He can finish second next week, and the championship is his no matter what, even if Carter wins. But it's still just 4 points, man. Like, you have to be on your game next week if you're Colby Eaglin. And we saw it tonight. He definitely provided the goods when he needed to the most, but got to do it one more time in Salt Lake City.
Yeah. Braden Carter, I feel like, do we need to call Connor Fields and him like go get a sports psychologist and like really lock in for this last round? I did just get a message from Braden Carter. He said 2 times I'm killed without anything I can do, which we didn't see his 2 main fall-offs where he was up front. That makes me believe, maybe Emmanuel Cepeda was part of that. Because that's who he was down with early on, then maybe someone else. So
but that's interesting because when he crashed early when he was in third, they hadn't lapped anybody. So who would have gotten?
Well, Cepeda was battling with him. For position.
I'm sorry, when he crashed early when he was in second, Leclerc was leading and he was second. Remember, and then he fell back to like 8th.
That I think was on his own. Maybe he's saying another one, but I mean, we saw at least 2 that were his fault, right? The one where he was in second, but the Cepeda thing, if that starts it, then maybe that gets in his head because he had a great start and he had it under control and he was working forward, and that would spiral me. I know if someone takes me out like that and I'm having the best race of my life, I would be fuming and, you just lose that sense of control. So bummer for Carter, man. I mean, I'm sure we'll see some clips, we'll see some videos, we'll see some protests, but you got to do whatever you can do. He did almost perfect this week. He got to start inside the top 5, worked his way up into second, had a chance to, keep pushing forward. And man, if I was in this, I don't even know if I was in this battle. Eaglin and Carter, crazy. And this is the best championship fight we've had since 2019 outdoors, maybe.
Yeah, it's good. It's good, man. It's anytime you have a title fight go to the end, it's always good, but sometimes we see title fights go to the end and it's 16 points or something that seems impossible. But this seems very possible that Carter could easily get it back next week and win this championship just as much as it is possible for Eaglin to clinch his first ever MotoOption Supercross title. Just quickly to go through, like we said, West wraps up tonight, 42-point advantage after this one for Tharp. So he could skip next week and still be the champion. It doesn't matter whatsoever, but of course he wants to go win the showdown. And then in terms of the East Championship, this is what we're looking at. Cade Matherly versus Johnny Padani, 13 points in it. Obviously, like we just said, seems a bit, more insurmountable for Padani's sake, but it is a showdown. And if Padani can win and get a handful of guys between himself and Cade Matherly, at least the potential is still there. And so we will want to see all of you guys, every single one of you beautiful faces with us next week to wrap this thing up at Salt Lake City. We're going to have a 450 champion crowned, and we're going to have a 250 East champion crowned next week. And also, we're going to go ahead and try to plan it out, too, to be able to interview the champions next week to some degree. I knew Tharp could win it tonight, but I kind of wanted to push it so we had a good post-show next week, and we could interview him even if he clinched this week after Salt Lake City. So we'll do that then. We'll have a whole championship post-show following Salt Lake City. You guys will want to tune in for that. We'll have some fun, and maybe even put a few brews down next week to celebrate Salt Lake City.
I plan on putting a few brews down next week. Okay. Maybe more than a few. Who knows? Might end up on this couch. You never know.
Yeah. Well, big thanks everyone for tuning in. Also want to remind you guys real quick, as Sarah let me know, make sure to mention the SMX jersey thing that they're doing for Jerry. So yes, the SMX jersey, I think it's just smxjerseys.com or something along those lines. But if you go to the supermotocross.com, there is a link to the jersey website. And if you buy Jerry's jersey, all proceeds go to Jerry as well. So really anywhere you help him out, whether it's through Road to Recovery, which goes to medical expenses for Jerry, or if you donate through the PulpMX Gives Back raffle, which is still going on. That was to get Kyle Chisholm to wear number 77, which Chiz on his Twisted Tea Suzuki is going to wear number 77 at the PulpMX race this Friday in Denver, and every single dime he makes in that race will go to Jerry Robin, which is really cool. I mean, Chiz is basically putting his body on the line to make some money for our buddy Jerry, so that's really cool as well. But anyone that can help out Jerry as well. And also, I heard this weekend, and I just want to also say that like I'm thinking about this gentleman as well. Chad Saltz was paralyzed earlier this year in a practice crash, not involved in Supercross, but of course he raced Supercross for many years. So if you go to Road to Recovery and you donate to Jerry Robbins Fund, also think about our guy Chad Saltz, longtime pro racer, good dude as well, and thinking about him as well. Tough year in general for the sport, obviously, with Saltz and Jerry, and then
Joel Evans.
Joel Evans passing away in Australia a few days ago, and that one hit me so hard, probably because then the day after his wife announced that they're having a baby too. So, man, like that's absolutely brutal, and definitely feel for the Evans family and everyone down in Australia. Thinking about you guys all week as well. But yeah, if you guys can, just support the people around you, man. It's a small knit community. Moto's awesome, and we love all these people. And sometimes there's too much negativity and not enough focus on the fact that we all really effing love dirt bikes, and we love going racing on them as well. So that's my message to you people. Love thy neighbor, basically. Hug a buddy, and check on your friends as well, as always. And hopefully we'll see you guys in Salt Lake City to wrap this championship up next week. Andrew Wood, thank you for joining me in studio this week. Very excited to have you back with us next week to wrap this thing up, and going to be fun for sure. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to round 16 of MotoOption Supercross live here from Denver, and we'll see you guys next week to wrap this thing up in Salt Lake City. So long for now.